Yo, Atlas speaking, and welcome to part 3 of What If I Was Reincarnated into Naruto as the blind shinobi of the main branch Hyuga clan. Let the tale begin. Chapter 61. After that, Shikaku took Ino along with him to the safe house where Joken is currently residing. Upon entering, Shikaku noticed Joken seated, surrounded by her guards. Shikaku slightly bent and said, "Joken, I hope you are well without any issues. How can I have any problems? After all, Jirioku is my protector," Joken replied. As soon as Joken mentioned Jirioku's name, Ino immediately asked, "Do you know where Jirioku really is?" "Who are you?" Joken inquired, looking towards Ino. "Apologies, Joken. She is a child and doesn't know the etiquette, which is why she spoke like that. Her name is Ino Yamanaka, daughter of Yamanaka clan head," Shikaku explained, apologizing. "So, you are Ino, the one Jirioku has mentioned a few times," Joken remarked. "Yes, I am Ino, and I want to meet him. Can you tell me where he is?" Ino asked with anticipation. "I don't know his exact location. He mentioned that he's undergoing a training regimen. However, he does have a message for you, Shikamaru, and Choji." Jirioku said he never intended to form any friendships with anyone, as his plans for the future were clear. Becoming a missing nin was also part of his path. But then you all entered his life. Even though he didn't initially want you to be close to him, you claimed yourselves as his friends. Slowly, Shikamaru and Choji also began treating him as a friend. Despite his persistent belief that no one could be his friend and his determination to avoid such connections, he started to consider you all as his friends. "If fate allows, you should all meet him," Joken conveyed. Ino just listened, thinking of every moment she had spent with Jirioku. She smiled and then bowed towards Joken, saying, "Thank you for letting his words reach me and my friends. And I must say one thing, you are beautiful and will surely be my competitor," remarked Joken. "We will see about that," Ino replied, her face filled with pride. Joken covered her face, smiled, then looked towards Shikaku and said, "Jirioku will not be announced as a missing nin. We, in the Fire Country, don't want to lose a powerful ninja like Jirioku. The actions he took do not qualify as heinous acts that cross the line of humanity. He did all of that for his personal revenge, and only those who harmed his family were killed, no one else. Furthermore, when Konoha decides on their next Hokage, an official order from the daimyo will be given to the Hokage. If Konoha wishes, they can announce Jirioku's expulsion from the village, and nothing more than this." Upon hearing this, Shikaku was shocked. He had expected Joken to support Jirioku, but not to this extent. "Now, if you would excuse me, I have to return to the daimyo's mansion. There is quite a lot of work for us to do," stated Joken. "Yes, thank you for honoring us with your presence during the Chunin exam," Shikaku said, bowing slightly. "Ino, come to my mansion sometime. We can talk there without any constraints," Joken offered as she left. Ino nodded in response to Joken's words. It's been 3 days since the events unfolded in Konoha, and the news of these occurrences has spread throughout the ninja world. The deaths of the 3rd Hokage and the 4th Kazekage Raza have caused quite a stir among the ninja villages. However, what was even more impactful was the death of Danzo. This event rendered the different major villages highly unstable. After Danzo's demise, the root ninjas, who had been planted as spies in these villages, began leaving one by one. Consequently, a large number of rogue ninjas emerged in the ninja world. From my perspective, this seems plausible, especially considering Danzo's tendency to deploy numerous spies in other villages. This can be likened to the situation with Kabuto's adoptive mother, Nono Yakushi. I'd appreciate hearing your thoughts on this. Although this presented a golden opportunity for many ninja villages, the crucial point was that the major villages had not yet fully recovered from the Third Ninja War. Moreover, while Hiruzen had passed away and Konoha had suffered damage during Orochimaru's attack, the Fire Country still possessed formidable assets in the form of Jiraiya and Tsunade. Not to mention Jirioku, who is even stronger than Jiraiya, remains a ninja of the fire country, even if he is no longer a Konoha ninja. In a black market within the fire country, Jirioku stepped into the dimly lit establishment. This was not his first visit to this shadowy place. "You've been causing quite a stir out there, Mr. Jirioku," remarked the man behind the counter. "Just because I frequent this place doesn't grant you the liberty to address me so familiarly, as if we were friends. There should be no next time, or else I wouldn't mind reducing this establishment to ruins," Jirioku warned. "I apologize for my behavior, and I assure you there won't be a next time," the man quickly responded. I'm seeking information about one of the Sannin and the granddaughter of the first Hokage, Senju Tsunade," Jirioku stated. "Ah, this. We do possess information about Sannin Tsunade, but the price for it is quite steep," the man behind the counter informed him. "How much?" Jirioku inquired. 5 million, the man stated plainly. "Here!" Jirioku retrieved a scroll and tossed it onto the counter. He was well aware that negotiations held no sway in the black market. "Wait here. I will verify the amount and retrieve the information," the man said, taking the scroll and disappearing into the depths of the establishment. After a few moments, the man returned with the scroll in hand. Chapter 62, Jirioku took the scroll and left the black market branch. 100 meters away from the black market, Jirioku walked and then stopped, speaking, "Come out. Do you really think you can hide from me?" A group of 10 shadowy figures emerged behind Jirioku, wielding kunai, shuriken, and swords. "Raijin no Jirioku, the bounty on your head is very high, more than enough for us to retire from this profession," said one of the individuals. "You are correct about that, but what gives you the illusion that you can fight me and behead me at that?" replied Jirioku. "If you were at your peak, we wouldn't have dared to attack you. However, after fighting against the Konoha ninjas, you are not at your peak, right?" stated the man. "You are right. I'm not at my peak, and I'm weaker compared to my prime. However, that's for someone at my level, not weaklings like you. I can fight against thousands like you even in my current state," Jirioku declared. "And if you think such petty tricks will work against me, you are dead wrong," he continued, swinging his sword horizontally toward his back and decapitating one of the ninjas attempting a sneak attack. The other ninjas attacked Jirioku from various directions, but none of their attacks worked against him, whether physical or ninjutsu. Within a minute, Jirioku completely killed these bounty hunters. Among them, the strongest was a special jonin. Throughout the fight, Jirioku relied solely on his swordsmanship. The information held within the scroll in Jirioku's possession indicated that Tsunade was on the move and would reach Tanzaku quarters within 3 days. This information aligned with Jirioku's own understanding of events in Naruto. Jiraiya had met Tsunade after 3 weeks, but Tsunade had already been in Tanzaku quarters before that. She had chosen to leave the Tanzaku quarters only after she got frustrated after continuously winning gambles. Jirioku himself was fatigued and had not fully recovered. Despite the lack of apparent drawbacks to using the EAM enhanced amplification mode, it consumed stamina at twice the normal rate for the same strength compared to when he relied on his own power. Ding! You are mistaken, host. The EAM doesn't actually enhance your existing strength, instead, it creates an illusion that your strength has increased. In Stage 1, your body enters a hyperactive state triggered by an adrenaline rush. This rush makes you perceive yourself as being twice as strong. In Stage 2, your mastery over your movements leads you to subconsciously conserve energy, allowing you to execute precise strikes. This results in the sensation of being almost 3 times stronger. In Stage 3, your body and mind harmonize, significantly amplifying the force you exert. This fusion of body and mind culminates in a strength nearly 5 times greater than your current level. That means my base stats always remain the same, only the method in which I utilize them changes, and I perceive an increase in my strength, explained Jirioku. Ding! Correct, and to counteract this side effect of continuous stamina loss, you need to master Sage Mode. Why do you think I'm searching for Tsunade? Jirioku questioned, maintaining his movement in the direction of Tanzaku quarters. However, Jirioku was unaware of one crucial detail: his intervention had caused many things to change. In the canon, the day after the Hokage's death and his departure from Konoha, an emergency meeting had been held with the daimyo. Yet, in this altered scenario, Koharu and Hamura, who were responsible for Jirioku's parents' deaths, were barred from participating in the meeting. As a result, Jiraiya attended in their stead. During the meeting, it was decided that Tsunade would be the next Hokage. Coincidentally, the daimyo was aware of Tsunade's location, enabling Jiraiya to obtain it. The following day marked the funeral of Sarutobi Hiruzen, and Konoha came under attack by Kisame and Itachi. However, Kakashi, Asuma, and Kurenai intercepted the attackers. A subsequent battle occurred with Jiraiya, who, despite his injuries, had significantly recuperated due to his Sage Mode proficiency. And Itachi also had no intention of causing harm to Konoha and thus retreated with Kisame. Jiraiya persisted in his journey to locate Tsunade with Naruto. 3 days later, in a restaurant within the Tanzaku quarters, Jirioku sat and savored his meal. Onlookers gazed at him as if they had seen a ghost, a sizable stack of bowls and plates accumulating beside him. "How can someone eat so much?" remarked one of the people in the restaurant. "He's eaten this much before. Just yesterday, he consumed a similar amount," mentioned another diner. While the people were engaged in a discussion about his eating habits, Jirioku remained unperturbed. After settling the bill, he departed from the restaurant. "It's already been 3 days, and there's no sign of Tsunade in town. The people from the black market wouldn't deceive me. It appears there might be extenuating circumstances causing Tsunade's delay. I'll wait for another 2 days. If Tsunade hasn't arrived in the Tanzaku quarters by then, I'll have to begin searching for her myself," Jirioku muttered to himself, making his way to the hotel where he was lodged. Chapter 63. 2 days later, just when Jirioku was on the verge of giving up and about to leave the Tanzaku quarters, he felt the presence of a person with an immense amount of chakra entering the Tanzaku quarters. The person turned out to be a woman. "It seems I haven't wasted my time," Jirioku remarked as he stood up from his meditation and exited the hotel room. In one of the casinos in the Tanzaku quarters, Tsunade sat with Shizune, growing increasingly frustrated. She had been winning at gambling repeatedly, but she wasn't happy as each victory in her life seemed to be followed by misfortune befalling someone close to her. At that moment, she overheard a few people murmuring, "Look, this boy won again. It's the 3rd time he's won at gambling. Seems like this casino might have to close early today, haha." Upon hearing this, Tsunade felt a glimmer of hope. She promptly approached the table and spotted a boy engrossed in a dice gambling game. "Would you like to gamble with me, young man? I've been winning consistently, and I'm in need of some real competition," Tsunade proposed. The boy turned out to be none other than Jirioku. He faced Tsunade, nodded, and gestured for her to take a seat across from him. "Are you planning to play blindfolded, young man?" Tsunade quipped. "To play with my eyes open, I need to have at least one eye," Jirioku replied with a smile. Tsunade was startled. As a medical ninja, she should have been able to discern that Jirioku didn't have eyes. However, based on his behavior and the way he carried himself, she subconsciously assumed that he was merely closing his eyes. Now that Jirioku had reminded her, she examined his face carefully, confirming that he indeed lacked the curvature of eyeballs. Tsunade promptly apologized. "I'm sorry, I didn't see you properly." "It's okay, I hear that a lot. Let's continue our game," Jirioku responded. Tsunade nodded and resumed her seat. "Please place your bets," instructed the dealer. "I'll wager 500,000 on all even," Tsunade declared. 500,000 on all even, echoed Jirioku. The dice were cast, rolling to an unexpectedly identical result. This pattern persisted as both Jirioku and Tsunade repeatedly placed their bets, and almost every time, they achieved the same outcome, resulting in both of them winning the game. Eventually, Tsunade grew weary of the situation. She stood up and announced, "I am done for today. We'll play again next time." "I'm also finished for today." "I should be going as well," Jirioku stated as he got up. Following this, Tsunade made her way to a restaurant. Deliberately, Jirioku also headed to the same restaurant. Outside the casino, a group of individuals lay on the ground, clutching wooden sticks and knives. They were the casino's thugs, incapacitated by Jirioku's conqueror's haki. Tsunade sat at a table, with Jirioku seated across from her. As Jirioku followed her, Tsunade inquired, "You followed me all the way here, do you need something from me?" "Yes, I came here specifically to meet you, or rather, I should say that I came to the Tanzaku quarters with the specific purpose of meeting you. I received information from the black market that Konoha's slug Princess Tsunade was arriving here," Jirioku explained. So you came here to meet me? You must have something on your mind that you want from me," Tsunade remarked, taking a sip from her jug of alcohol. "And how do you recognize me, given that you don't have eyes to see?" Tsunade inquired. "In the entire ninja world, there are very few people with such an immense amount of chakra. Besides, my other senses are exceptionally sharp, allowing me to at least discern body and facial structures of others," Jirioku replied. "All right, enough chatter. Tell me, what do you want?" Tsunade asked, her annoyance evident. "What I desire is your summoning, the slug," Jirioku stated plainly. Then I assume you've also brought the price required for it," Tsunade responded. "Yes, I pledge not to launch any attack against Konoha or its ninja, except for 2 individuals, Hamura and Koharu." "This should be an acceptable price," Jirioku proposed. "And what gives you the confidence that you can accomplish something that even all 4 major villages couldn't achieve against Konoha during the Third Ninja War?" Tsunade's tone dripped with mockery. "You're right, but you're overlooking one crucial detail. During the Third Ninja War, Konoha had Namikaze Minato and his wife Uzumaki Kushina, all 3 Sannin, Danzo, and the 3rd Hokage, all of them in their prime," Jirioku pointed out. "Now, allow me to provide you with a reality check. Namikaze Minato and his wife died for the village. Orochimaru, one of the Sannin, betrayed the village. Jiraiya, another Sannin, left the village, and lastly, you, Senju Tsunade, departed Konoha, distancing yourself from the village's politics. Danzo and his root members are deceased, and finally, the 3rd Hokage is no longer with us, having been killed by his own student Orochimaru," Jirioku continued. Initially, Tsunade had been listening with a measure of detachment, but upon hearing about Danzo's demise, her attention sharpened. The news of Hiruzen's death left her in shock. "What did you say? What happened to the teacher?" asked Tsunade. "You'll receive the details from one of your closest friends soon enough. First, allow me to finish what I was saying. As of now, Konoha is at its weakest and is in need of a Hokage. You are the prime candidate for this role. So, from now on, listen to my words through the lens of a future Hokage. While the Fire Country surpasses Konoha in terms of wealth and influence, they pale in comparison in terms of strength. Thus, if they can gain full control over Konoha, with everything under their jurisdiction, it's only logical that they would desire it. As a ninja of the Fire Country rather than Konoha, I can attack Konoha and place it directly under the rule of the daimyo. This concludes what I had to convey. The rest is up to you, but I urge you to deliberate before making a decision. Make certain that you understand my capabilities. I'll provide you with ample time to consider," Jirioku stated as he rose to his feet. Before Tsunade could respond, Jirioku vanished. Chapter 64, "Damn it, what was he talking about?" exclaimed Tsunade, slamming her fist onto the table, causing it to shatter into pieces. "Lady Tsunade, please calm down," Shizune implored, trying to soothe her. "I'm sorry about this, we will pay for the damages," Shizune apologized to the waiter. "Let's go to another tavern," Tsunade said, standing up and leaving the restaurant. After settling the bill for the damages, Shizune left the restaurant and caught up to Tsunade. She suggested, "Lady Tsunade, there's a historical castle here. We can go there, it might help you feel better." "Whatever," Tsunade replied indifferently, and she followed Shizune towards the castle. As they reached the castle, Tsunade suddenly felt a cold sensation and questioned, "What is this chilling feeling?" In an instant, the castle crumbled, and a massive snake emerged from the wreckage, with Orochimaru and Kabuto perched upon it. Initially, Orochimaru hadn't intended to arrive so soon. However, upon learning that Jiraiya was searching for Tsunade to offer her the position of the next Hokage, he swiftly embarked on the pursuit. Orochimaru understood that if Jiraiya persuaded Tsunade to become the next Hokage, she would never heal his hands at any cost. Orochimaru and Kabuto landed before Tsunade. She inquired with clenched fists and a mocking smile, "Why are you here, Orochimaru? And what happened to your arms? Were you incapable of facing our former teacher? You seem to be well informed about the happenings in Konoha." "I came here specifically so that you can heal my arms," Orochimaru declared. "It's been years since I treated anyone," Tsunade remarked. "How can that be? You are the person who is most accomplished in the field of healing. Even if you stopped practicing for many years, you would still easily be able to heal anyone," Kabuto responded. "If you can heal my arms, I will revive those two whom you were unable to protect in the war. They're the reason you developed a fear of blood," Orochimaru stated while making a small cut on his finger, allowing the blood to flow. As soon as she saw the blood, her hemophobia kicked in, and she started trembling in fear. "Tsunade, I'm giving you 1 week's time. After 1 week, I'd like to hear your answer," Orochimaru said before disappearing in a cloud of smoke with Kabuto. Tsunade leaned against the wall for support. In a tavern, Tsunade was drinking and eating with Shizen by her side when a man with white hair entered, followed by a boy with yellow hair. They were Jiraiya and Naruto. "Pervy Sage, what are we doing here in the tavern? This isn't a place for children. We should go to a ramen shop," Naruto commented. "Tsunade!" Jiraiya exclaimed upon spotting her. "What are you doing here, Jiraiya?" Tsunade asked in surprise. "I came here searching for you," Jiraiya replied as he took a seat opposite Tsunade. "Why are you here instead of mourning for the third Hokage?" Tsunade inquired. "So you know about the teacher's death." "He was killed by Orochimaru," Jiraiya said with a sad expression. "Yes, that blind boy told me everything." "What was his name again?" "I forgot," Tsunade slurred, slightly intoxicated. "His name was Jirioku," Shizen supplied. "What? He's here?" Jiraiya responded with surprise. "From your tone, it seems you fought him," Tsunade observed. "Yes, I did, and I lost miserably even after using Sage Mode," Jiraiya admitted. "What?" Tsunade exclaimed, standing up in shock. Tsunade quickly sobered up, the effects of alcohol completely gone. She sat back down and asked, "Did you really lose to him?" "Yes, and it wasn't like I was his first opponent. Before me, he fought the Hyuga elders and won. Then he dropped a meteor on Konoha. After that, he fought Danzo and his root ninjas, completely destroying them. Finally, he fought me, and he won again, injuring me severely. He was exhausted afterward and had to escape. But he left with an attack that took the combined efforts of elite ninjas to stop. It was comparable to an S-rank ninjutsu," Jiraiya recounted. "By the way, what did he want from you?" Jiraiya inquired. "Shizen, tell him," Tsunade instructed. Shizen proceeded to recount everything that Jirioku had spoken about earlier. "Is that so? It seems he also wants to master Sage Mode," Jiraiya mused. "So, what's your decision, Tsunade?" Jiraiya asked. "I haven't thought about it thoroughly," Tsunade stated. Jiraiya nodded and announced, "Tsunade, you have been chosen as the next Hokage by the villagers of Konoha and the daimyo of the Fire Country. Forget it. I will never be a Hokage. You can take that miserable title of Hokage. I'm not a fool like the fourth Hokage and the third Hokage, sacrificing myself for the village." "Life is more important than the village," Tsunade retorted. "You have to. No one is better suited than you to become a Hokage. Your achievements in the war are remarkable, and you're also the granddaughter of the first Hokage," Jiraiya argued. "Hey, what's going on here? Who is this woman, and how dare she disrespect the position of Hokage and Grandpa Third Hokage? Naruto exclaimed, standing on the table and lunging towards Tsunade, but he was restrained by Jiraiya. Kid, are you trying to challenge me? If you want to fight, then come outside, Tsunade taunted. Yeah, let's go outside, Naruto replied defiantly. Both Tsunade and Naruto stepped outside the tavern and stood facing each other. Tsunade raised her index finger and proclaimed, with just one finger, I will defeat you. Humph. I will defeat you and make you apologize for what you said, Naruto declared. Naruto then attacked Tsunade with his kunai, but Tsunade easily deflected the kunai with her finger. The kunai flew up in the air, and Naruto stood defenseless. Tsunade flicked Naruto on the head, causing him to be thrown away and fall to the ground. Humph. You are too weak to make me apologize, Tsunade jeered, her tone mocking. I will defeat you, Naruto shouted. He began forming a blue sphere in his hand, creating an incomplete Rasengan. Jiraiya, who had been standing nearby, was shocked. He had taught Naruto the Rasengan, but Naruto had only just mastered the first form of Rasengan earlier that morning. However, with this incomplete Rasengan, Naruto had evidently skipped the second part and managed to enter the third part of the Rasengan training. Chapter 65. After forming the Rasengan, Naruto attacked Tsunade. She was also startled after seeing it, and upon looking at Jiraiya, she said, Are you a fool, Jiraiya, for teaching this boy the Rasengan? Giving him false hope. I will become a Hokage and will surely defeat you, shouted Naruto. He ran in Tsunade's direction to attack her, but Tsunade easily created a fissure in the ground by tapping her finger on the ground. Naruto fell into the fissure, and his incomplete Rasengan also hit the ground, creating a small pothole. Humph, it will take you ages to defeat me, said Tsunade. Give me just 3 days, only 3 days, and I will master this Rasengan, said Naruto. Alright, then. It's a bet. If you master the Rasengan, then I will give you this locket, said Tsunade, showing the locket of her grandfather, Senju Hashirama. Who needs your locket? You will have to apologize for what you said about the Hokage, retorted Naruto. Whatever, Tsunade replied before leaving. For almost half of the night, Naruto trained to master the Rasengan. He eventually fainted from exhaustion. Tsunade witnessed his efforts and also made Shizune pass out. She left to have a drink with Jiraiya, where she drugged him. After that, she went alone to confront Orochimaru. Tsunade and Orochimaru met, and Tsunade accepted Orochimaru's offer on the condition that he wouldn't harm Konoha. Orochimaru agreed to this condition. Tsunade also offered to heal Orochimaru, but their interaction was interrupted by Kabuto. Kabuto clearly saw Tsunade's intention to kill Orochimaru, which made Orochimaru unhappy. He attacked Tsunade, but being a Sannin, she wasn't easily outdone and fought back against Orochimaru. Seeing that the terrain wasn't suitable for the fight, Orochimaru and Kabuto moved towards an open ground. Finally, the fight began. Both Tsunade and Orochimaru used their medical knowledge expertise to battle. Kabuto proved to be a formidable opponent for Tsunade in terms of medical knowledge. Eventually, Jiraiya arrived on the scene when Kabuto used an underhanded trick, exploiting Tsunade's phobia of blood to incapacitate her in the fight. Jiraiya arrived with Naruto and Shizune, leading the fight to progress in 2 parts, Kabuto versus Shizune and Naruto, and the second part being Orochimaru versus Jiraiya. As the fight progressed and the moment arrived when Kabuto and Orochimaru had subdued Tsunade, and just as Orochimaru was about to deliver a killing blow, a commanding voice intervened, "Wait!" Instantly, upon hearing this voice, everyone froze in their positions. It wasn't a result of surprise or shock, it was due to an overwhelming increase in gravity around their bodies. Orochimaru, Kabuto, Jiraiya, Tsunade, Shizune, and Naruto all turned their gaze towards the sky to see Jirioku floating in the air. Raijin no Jirioku, it's our first official meeting. I hope you won't interfere in my affairs, Orochimaru remarked. I am not intervening in your matters. However, you are interfering in mine by attempting to kill someone who possesses something I require. And don't address me in that manner. If you still had your hands, then perhaps you would have a chance to face me and speak with such confidence. But without hands, you mean nothing to me, Jiraiya responded, intensifying the gravity on Orochimaru. Yet, being a Sannin, Orochimaru channeled his chakra to counteract the effects, preventing him from succumbing to the gravity's weight. Had he been any weaker, he might have been forced to kneel like the others. Lady Tsunade, I trust you've reached a decision. However, if you're still uncertain, be aware that I have other options, and they won't bode well for you or Konoha, Jiraiya stated. Tsunade looked at the injured Naruto and replied, I agree to your terms. I'll grant you an audience with Lady Katsuyu. The choice to accept you or not will be hers. But I have conditions. Jiraiya nodded, signaling her to proceed. Tsunade continued, you must eliminate Orochimaru, and you are forbidden from harming Jiraiya. Furthermore, you must honor your pledge not to inflict harm on any Konoha ninja. My promise stands unchanged. I won't kill any Konoha ninja except for Hamura and Koharu. As for your other request, you can select only one, either I eliminate Orochimaru, which seems rather futile as he will resurface in another vessel, or I vow never to harm Jiraiya, Jiraiya explained. After a brief moment of contemplation, Tsunade responded, all right, promise that you won't harm Jiraiya. Realizing that Jiraiya's presence made it impossible to negotiate further, Orochimaru and Kabuto swiftly used the body flicker technique and left the scene. Please summon Lady Katsuyu, Jiraiya requested. Tsunade nodded and employed the summoning technique to bring forth Katsuyu. Notably, Tsunade's blood phobia had entirely vanished. A miniature version of Katsuyu materialized in front of Tsunade. Tsunade-sama, it has been quite some time since you last summoned me. Yes, my apologies for that. But you understand the circumstances, which is why I couldn't call upon you, Tsunade replied. Is there something specific you require of me? Katsuyu inquired. Yes, this young man here seeks a summoning contract with you, and I leave the judgment with you, Tsunade explained. Katsuyu turned around and directed her gaze towards Jiraiya. She asked, what is your particular reason for selecting me? The primary reason is your independence and your lack of alignment with any village. I am interested in learning Sage Mode, Jiraiya replied. Chapter 66. It is a good thing that you would like to master Sage Mode, but I must remind you that it is not easy to master the Sage Mode. At the same time, it is very difficult and can even cost you your life, said Katsuyu. I am well aware of the dangers in mastering the Sage Mode, but I must also tell you that I have sworn to destroy the Mount Maiboku due to them hiding someone they shouldn't have, said Jiraiya and explained the reason for his statement. I can't say much about this, but you don't have to worry about it. This is their own doing, trying to interfere in the workings of the world, which I have refrained from doing for quite a long time, said Katsuyu. By the way, I have heard speculations that you were the one who taught the first Hokage Sage Mode. Is this true? Asked Jiraiya. I did teach him the Sage Mode, but from my teachings, he created his own way of Sage Mode, replied Katsuyu. After that, Katsuyu summoned a large scroll, and in the end, it had the name of Tsunade. Jiraiya also wrote his name with blood, and now Jiraiya became an official summoner of Katsuyu. Lady Katsuyu, I have a few tasks to do in the Fire Country, which will take me around 2 days. After that, I will come to the Shikatsu Forest, said Jiraiya. All right, said Katsuyu. Then, Katsuyu turned towards Tsunade and asked, Lady Tsunade, is there something else that you require from me? No, Lady Katsuyu, thank you for coming, Tsunade said as Katsuyu disappeared. Okay then, thank you for keeping your word. As I promised, I will not kill Jiraiya, said Jiraiya as he rose into the air and soon transformed into lightning, disappearing. You didn't try to stop me, Tsunade said, looking at Jiraiya. On what basis should I stop you? I don't have the strength of my peak, and in a way, what you are doing is for the benefit of Konoha, said Jiraiya. But what about his will to destroy Mount Maiboku? Asked Tsunade. Let's leave it for the future. I had already asked the Toad Sage for permission, and they said they will handle it, replied Jiraiya. After that, he and Tsunade left with Naruto and Shizune, and Tsunade gave her necklace to Naruto as promised. Jiraiya had been roaming the Fire Country for the last day, as he wanted to convey to the world, especially to the minister of the Fire Country, that he still supported Joken. During this time, as Jiraiya moved from one town to another, he muttered, "It's already the 6th time I've felt the presence of this creature, which seems to be one with the surroundings. It must be White Zetsu, and it seems they are specifically keeping an eye on me." Jiraiya continued moving, and after covering another 10 miles, he suddenly sensed something and muttered, "A huge bird is coming in my direction, and on top of it, there seem to be 3 people standing. One of them has immense chakra, even more than the one-tail that I defeated in Konoha." Coming to a stop, Jiraiya landed on the ground. As he touched down, the bird also landed, and from it descended 3 individuals, the animal path of pain, Kisame, and Itachi Uchiha. Itachi Uchiha and Kisame, 2 of the most powerful S-rank missing nin from their respective villages, standing in my way. Your behavior towards this unknown person indicates that he's your leader. Interesting, said Jiraiya. Kisame and Itachi remained silent upon hearing this. The animal path used a summoning technique, and with a cloud of smoke, 5 more figures appeared, all paths of pain. Jiraiya's face remained calm, but inside, he was prepared for battle, gripping his sword tightly. The Deva Path stepped forward and said, "My name is Pain. I am the leader of the Akatsuki. The goal of our organization is to create a world where there is peace. And peace can only be achieved through pain. I have come here to invite you to join the Akatsuki organization. Quite an intriguing way to achieve peace, I must say." "So, is your goal to rule over this world?" asked Jiraiya. "Ruling is not our goal. We will possess a weapon powerful enough to destroy an entire country. By demonstrating the power of this weapon through a few countries as examples, and witnessing their suffering, other nations will be deterred from waging wars. If you wish to learn more, you'll have to join the Akatsuki organization," said the Deva Path. "If you had expressed a desire to become the ruler of this world and enact positive change, I might have considered it. However, your words make it seem like you're living in some kind of dream. I despise living under anyone's rule, so I refuse to join your organization, Akatsuki," said Jiraiya. As soon as Jiraiya made this statement, the Deva Path spoke, "Then you have only one fate, death. Should I be honored that the leader of the Akatsuki needs to hunt me down personally? Is it because he fears that I'll become so strong in the future that he won't be able to defeat me?" "Quite interesting," said Jiraiya with a calm voice. "I am a god, and no one in this world can stand against the power of these eyes," said Pain, showing off his Rinnegan. "Really? Then why are you hiding meters away, communicating with me through these lifeless bodies?" said Jiraiya with a smile. Nagato, who was sitting 1,000 meters away from the current location, had a solemn expression on his face. "Madara is right. If he isn't dealt with now, he will become a threat that hinders our plans. He must be dealt with," said Nagato. Konan, who stood beside Nagato, nodded in agreement. Although Jiraiya is speaking as if he doesn't care about the paths of pain, he is very nervous on the inside. If he possessed the strength of Fujitora at his peak, he could confidently say that he would win this fight for sure. However, now he lacks that confidence. Jiraiya bit his finger and used the summoning technique. With a cloud of smoke, Katsuyu appeared, standing around 5 meters tall. "Lord Karen, you've called me. It seems you require me in battle. But you should have summoned a larger form of me for combat," said Katsuyu upon appearing. "No, I didn't summon you here for combat. This isn't a battle you can take part in. I have a different purpose for summoning you," said Jiraiya. "Oh, then what do you need me to do?" "Tell me, and I will do my best," replied Katsuyu. "I want you to divide into as many parts as possible and keep an eye out for my blood. While I'll do my best to avoid getting injured to the point of spilling blood in a battle, nothing is certain. So, if my blood falls to the ground, use your acid to destroy it," said Jiraiya. Katsuyu indicated her agreement with this plan and split into many smaller versions of herself. Chapter 67. After deciding to eliminate Jirioku, the Deva Path utilized universal pull to draw Jirioku towards him. Kisame employed his Samahata to sprint in Jirioku's direction, aiming to attack him. In response, Jirioku covered his entire body with armament haki and clashed his sword with Kisame's Samahata. Itachi, from the side, unleashed his Jutsu Fire Release, Great Fireball technique to assault Jirioku. Jirioku discerned that the figure before him was a shadow clone, and he sensed Kisame's concealment. He repelled Kisame and simultaneously deflected the fireball, causing it to disperse. While evading the attack, Kisame, who had been lying in wait, struck Jirioku from behind. Additionally, the human path, wielding a black rod, also joined the assault against Jirioku. Jirioku found himself confronted by three opponents, one of Kisame's shadow clones, Kisame himself, and the human path. While he could potentially defend against each of them separately, he recognized that one of them were part of the Path of Pain and he doesn't know their ability. Not yet fully aware of their capabilities, Jirioku knew that he needed them to reveal their abilities first. This meant he couldn't take undue risks. The human path had the capacity to harm his soul upon physical contact, while the Preta path possessed the ability to absorb his chakra through touch. Hence, he proceeded with caution, using gravity push to repel all three of them. Subsequently, he slashed at Kisame's shadow clone, dispelling it. Jirioku recognized the futility of fighting them all in his base form, prompting him to activate the storm chakra mode. A cocoon of wind and lightning enveloped his body. During this phase, Jirioku's speed had escalated to nearly that of light. Itachi, who materialized behind Jirioku, was swiftly cleaved in half. However, it became evident that this Itachi was a mere shadow clone. Exercise caution, his speed has surged to an almost light speed level, advised the Deva Path. The Deva Path once again employed the universal pull, aiming to draw Jirioku closer. This time, Jirioku gripped his sword firmly, poised for an attack. Yet, the Deva Path prevented Jirioku from approaching too closely. As Jirioku neared, the Deva Path executed the Almighty Push, attempting to create a substantial impact on Jirioku's body. However, countering this move, Jirioku employed the Gravity Push, neutralizing the effects of the Almighty Push. Aware of the opportunity, Jirioku discerned a 5-second window before the Deva Path could deploy another Almighty Push to repel him once more. Just as Jirioku closed in on the Deva Path and ready to strike, a barrage of missiles honed in on him. With remarkable speed, he sliced each missile in half before they could reach him. Understanding that attacking the Deva Path was now unfeasible, Jirioku promptly vanished and assailed the Azura Path, the entity responsible for launching the missiles. Regrettably, this maneuver did not escape the observation of the various paths of pain, making Jirioku's endeavor far from straightforward. Just as Jirioku neared the Azura Path, he was intercepted by the Animal Path. Jirioku's sword clashed with the chakra rod wielded by the Animal Path. Although Jirioku couldn't directly assail the Azura Path, this interruption worked in his favor. Infusing his sword with gravity, Jirioku executed a downward slash. Upon contact with the ground, the blade caused a massive quake, resulting in the Gravity Blade Quake Strike. The Animal Path in front was immediately vanquished by the tremor, and the shockwaves reached the Azura Path behind, causing it to shatter. Jirioku wasn't content with this outcome, recognizing the endless cycle of resurrection for these paths of pain. He raised his hand, prompting the ground beneath the Animal and Azura Paths to break apart. The debris converged upon the two paths, forming spheres. Observing this, the Deva Path wasted no time and initiated the universal pull. Jirioku swiftly countered with the Gravity Blade, Raging Tiger, disrupting the gravitational forces and rendering the universal pull ineffective. Jirioku then manipulated the gravity to levitate the spheres above the ground, raising them to a significant height. Meanwhile, beneath the ground, Kisame was in motion. Utilizing the Earth Release, subterranean voyage, he navigated through the earth, akin to swimming. Kisame's speed was remarkable, propelling him swiftly towards Jirioku. However, Jirioku's observation haki allowed him to track Kisame's movements. Enveloping his sword in armament haki, he also imbued it with gravity. With precise accuracy, Jirioku struck the upper section of Samahana, which was visible from above the ground. The impact was monumental, propelling Kisame out from the underground and forcibly separating him from Samahana. Kisame was dragged across the ground for a significant distance due to the force of the impact. Kisame composed himself swiftly, promptly rising to his feet while Samahana also returned to his side. The Deva path materialized beside him, accompanied by the remaining Preta path, Human path, and Naraka path. Itachi also manifested beside the paths of pain. "You appear to possess knowledge of my capabilities," remarked the Deva path. Not only that, but he also seems to possess awareness of the abilities of our members. It's evident in how he consistently avoids sustaining injuries, with his body consistently enveloped in a violet layer. According to our intelligence, this layer significantly bolsters his defense. If my assumptions are accurate, it's likely a safeguard against Haiden's ability, Itachi commented from the sidelines. Chapter 68, Deva Path said, "Both of you, engage him at full power. Do not hold back. I must free those two." Kisame and Itachi nodded. Deva Path began to rise into the air. Just as Jirioku intended to intercept Deva Path, he was halted by Itachi. Itachi appeared in front of Jirioku, this time employing the rib cage version of Susanoo. He struck Jirioku with it. Although Jirioku easily defended against the attack, he was pulled in the direction where Kisame was. Kisame had been waiting for this opportunity. He promptly utilized the water release, great exploding water colliding wave, resulting in the formation of a massive water wave. Jirioku, due to the force from Susanoo's hand, was propelled into the water. As soon as he entered the water, Kisame employed the water prison shark dance technique. Gradually, all the water gathered in one location, forming what appeared from the outside to be a large bubble of water. Within the water, Jirioku floated, with Kisame positioned in front of him. One of Kisame's hands was covered by Samahana. He had merged with Samahana, causing his entire body to take on a shark-like appearance. "Welcome to my domain. Now, you cannot escape this water prison that I have created," Kisame proclaimed, launching an attack on Jirioku with incredible speed. However, Jirioku effortlessly evaded Kisame's assaults. The reason was simple: he had generated a slight gravitational field around himself, rendering him unaffected by Kisame's attacks. Kisame's attacks were diverse. Each time he approached Jirioku from a different direction, spikes grew from his body, aiming to pierce or at least slightly injure Jirioku. However, due to Jirioku's armament haki, he remained completely unaffected. "I acknowledge that while this water prison isn't functioning as I initially anticipated, I can at the very least confine you here until you suffocate. This time, I have the authorization to kill, so I will ensure you suffocate to death," Kisame declared, accompanied by a cruel smile. "You're right, this water is your domain, granting you a significant advantage beyond what you'd normally have on the ground. By the way, have you ever heard the saying, 'a fish drowned in water'? It might sound paradoxical and ridiculous, but I'll illustrate how it's possible, with you as the fish," Jirioku retorted, pointing his sword toward Kisame and activating 20x gravity. Instantly, as a result of Jirioku's action, the water took on the shape of a bubble, creating a cylindrical hole about 20 meters deep and 5 meters in diameter above it. Kisame, who had been laughing, ceased abruptly. His expression contorted with pain, and he struggled to move. "Seems you've forgotten that you're battling someone who can manipulate gravity. Due to this manipulation, 3 adverse effects have befallen you. First, your weight has increased. Second, the water's density has risen, making it difficult for you to float, you'll keep sinking. And third, the weight of the water above you has surged dramatically. Let's assume the original weight of the water above you was around 100 kilograms, now it's almost 2,000 kilograms, Jirioku explained calmly, effortlessly emerging from the water prison. Kisame recognized the impossibility of his survival if this continued. He would be crushed to death, despite his substantial physical strength. Thus, Kisame dispelled the jutsu, causing the water to disperse and vanish. However, the water above and below Kisame remained, creating the illusion that he was ensnared within a cylindrical container filled with water. Unperturbed by Kisame, Jirioku swiftly moved. He aimed to acquire the spheres containing the paths of pain. As he reached the same altitude as the Deva path, he realized that the Deva path had already obliterated both spheres using the concentrated attacks of the Almighty Push. Upon seeing Jirioku, the Deva path addressed him, saying, "I offer you another chance, join the Akatsuki, and I will spare your life." Jirioku scoffed at the proposition. "Who do you think you're fooling? Letting me live? Someone like me is well aware of your abilities, your so-called paths of pain. Uttering such words is a direct challenge to my intelligence and wit, a blatant display of disrespect." With these words, Jirioku launched an assault on the Deva path using his sword, executing the Gravity Blade, Raging Tiger technique. Facing a god, you are insignificant. I am the one destined to bring peace to this world, asserted the Deva path. Raising his hand, the Deva path commanded, "Begone, Almighty Push." The force behind this almighty push was formidable. It dissipated Jirioku's attack and directly struck his body, propelling him to the ground like a meteor. The impact was so intense that dust enveloped the area, obscuring vision. Deva path descended to the ground as well, muttering, "It will take me at least 2 minutes to regain my abilities." The Naraka path summoned the King of Hell, and both the Asura path and the Animal path were revived. Jirioku cleared the debris from his body with a punch and emerged, with only half of his body still covered. A few drops of his blood fell to the ground, yet even these traces were swiftly obliterated by smaller Katsuyu emerging from the earth. At this time Itachi opened his Mangekyo and used Amaterasu on Jirioku. Chapter 69. In response to Itachi's attack, Jirioku used Gravity Push, causing the Amaterasu to halt and deflect. Once again, all the paths of pain were revived and stood unharmed. The Preta path emerged before Kisame, absorbing the water ninjutsu and releasing Kisame from the gravitational influence imposed by Jirioku. Kisame reverted to his normal form, and Samahata was separated from him. Thanks to Samahata, he quickly healed. "Are you capable of continuing the fight?" inquired the Deva path. "Yes, thanks to him, I endured an agonizing minute. Only I understand the sensation of being crushed repeatedly, healing, then repeating the cycle. For this ordeal, I'll dismantle him into pieces," replied Kisame, his grip on Samahata exuding excitement as well. "Samahata, you're also brimming with anger." "Don't worry, we'll exact revenge," Kisame assured. As Pain, Kisame, and Itachi readied themselves to assault Jirioku once more, he enveloped his entire body with armament haki, poised for combat. Katsuyu advised Jirioku, saying, "Jirioku-sama, it's wise to retreat now. They possess formidable power, and you're also nursing internal injuries. I understand that it might be rational to withdraw, but the truth is, as a male, my ego refuses to accept defeat. I'll either conquer them or make this battle end in a draw," declared Jirioku. "But this prolonged battle will take a toll on your body," cautioned Katsuyu. "Rest assured, I'm not a foolishly arrogant person. I possess a chance not only to confront them but also to overcome them. That's why I confidently claim my ability to engage," reassured Jirioku. "Lady Katsuyu, can you communicate with your main body?" inquired Jirioku. "Yes," Katsuyu replied succinctly. "In that case, stand ready to reverse summon me if I find myself in a dire situation," directed Jirioku. "Very well, as you wish," agreed Katsuyu. Jirioku's body, fully cloaked in armament haki, began to exhibit crimson lines across its surface as he activated EAM. This time, he directly accessed the third stage of EAM, so lines also appeared on his face, which was not the case in the second stage. "I have a maximum of 3 minutes. The stamina drain in this form is immense," Jirioku thought. "Something seems amiss. Those lines on his body appear to be some form of strength enhancement." "Prepare yourselves," alerted the Deva path, their prior gathered information in mind. With a resolute grip on his sword and determination etched onto his face, Juryoku focused his observation haki on Kisame. He surged forward with an astonishing burst of speed, surpassing even the velocity of light. Before Kisame could react, Juryoku's lethal blade neared dangerously, poised to sever his head from his shoulders. Yet, in the nick of time, a swirling vortex materialized at Kisame's side, ensnaring him within its spiraling hold. /N, as shown when Inoki used Dust Release on Sasuke, Abito was able to save him easily unharmed. Nevertheless, Juryoku's unyielding resolve remained unbroken. Kisame would not escape unscathed. With a display of sheer skill, Juryoku struck decisively, severing Kisame's left hand, still grasping Samahana, from his shoulder. "So you finally revealed yourself, Abito Uchiha," thought Juryoku. Coming to a halt, Juryoku redirected his attention, making the paths of pain his new target. However, Nagato wouldn't permit Juryoku to act as he pleased. Through the Deva path, Nagato unleashed Almighty Push once again. In response, Juryoku executed 3 swift slashes. Each slash was a manifestation of the Gravity Blade, Raging Tiger technique, countering and negating the effects of Deva Path's Almighty Push. The first 2 slashes proved more than sufficient to nullify the Almighty Push. The third slash struck the Deva Path head-on, sending them hurtling through the air. Were Yahiko's body not meticulously constructed to be extraordinarily resilient and potent, the Deva Path's form might have been completely obliterated, rather than merely propelled. /N, as seen during Pain vs. Naruto Tailed Beast form, only clothes of Yahiko's corpse were harmed but his body was intact. With the Deva Path incapacitated, the other 5 paths of pain were effectively non-combatants. This made it relatively simple for Juryoku to dispatch them. However, Nagato demonstrated his strategic prowess by quickly summoning multiple creatures through the animal path. As these creatures materialized, they launched an assault on Juryoku. Operating in the 3rd stage of EAM, Juryoku effortlessly killed the summoned animals without resorting to extravagant gravity-related abilities. A single slash from his sword proved enough to eliminate each creature summoned by the animal path. While attacking the other paths of pain, Itachi emerged with his skeletal Susanoo form. Juryoku directed a direct sword strike at Susanoo, shattering its outer defense of Susanoo. However, Juryoku's attack lost some of its momentum upon impact. Consequently, Itachi effectively parried Juryoku's sword strike using his kunai. Meanwhile, Itachi harnessed the might of Susanoo's fist, launching an attack on Juryoku. Although Juryoku responded promptly, he found himself being dragged across the ground by the force of Susanoo's strike. Just as Juryoku stabilized himself, a spatial vortex emerged behind him. From within, an individual donning an orange mask materialized, holding a kunai aimed at Juryoku. Juryoku reacted swiftly, delivering a counter-slash. Yet, at the final instant, the person, Abito, employed Camui, allowing Juryoku's attack to pass through. However, a subsequent slash was unleashed from Juryoku's blade, targeting Kisame, who was saved by Abito's intervention. Kisame evaded the strike with nimble agility. Abito pondered whether Juryoku's actions were intentional, speculating that Juryoku might be aware of his Camui ability and had anticipated the countermove, deliberately aiming for Kisame. Subsequently, Juryoku retreated, positioning himself at a distance from the paths of pain, Abito, Itachi, and Kisame. As all the paths of pain, Abito, Itachi, and Kisame regrouped, Kisame cradled his left hand, still attached thanks to Samahana's regenerative properties. Reattaching it to his shoulder would result in complete healing. "It seems your chosen method places considerable strain on your body," remarked the Deva Path. "Nowhere to run this time," added the Deva Path. Chapter 70, You are right, it's difficult for me to survive today. But do not make a mistake, if I wanted to, I could have easily retreated rather than fighting all of you. And you, who call yourself a god, are insulting the word god. You required the help of 3 others to defeat me, a 13-year-old. Haha, it's funny, but I want to thank you all for one thing, you gave me a challenge for the first time in my life. After I was born, I had a quite smooth sailing life in terms of battle and combat, of course. But you were able to remind me that I have to become far more powerful than I am currently and have to work harder if I want to achieve the title of the strongest in the world, even in the universe, said Jirioku. Humph, stop your nonsense. We are far above what you can ever reach. Now, you can die, said Devapath. That's why you came specifically to kill me, a 13-year-old boy, for eliminating future threats, said Jirioku with a mocking smile on his face. Do not argue with him, just attack, said Abito. After Abito's voice fell, they all attacked Jirioku, trying to kill him in one shot. But suddenly, gravity descended on all of them. What is this? What's with this suddenly increased gravity, said Kisame. I have been working on it for a long time, but I was not able to master it due to my lack of stamina and control over gravity. But today, I will be using it for the first time in my life, and I will show you the miniature version of the power to destroy the world, said Jirioku, blood flowing from his mouth, eyes, and ears. His body was taking a huge toll, and there were even sounds of his bones breaking. Lady Katsuyu, let all your small clones leave, or else they will be obliterated, said Jirioku. What about you? Should I reverse someone for you, said Katsuyu. Not now, I will tell you, said Jirioku. Stop him! It seems he is going to use something very powerful, said Abito. I know, said Devapath, and with that, all the paths of pain except Devapath fell to the ground. Devapath used Almighty Push with full power, capable of destroying a whole village, on Jirioku. But as soon as it reached near Jirioku, the effect was gone. What? How is this possible? Said Nagato in surprise. Abito from the side used one of the most powerful fire release jutsus he knows, Fire Release, Blast Wave Wild Dance. Itachi supported Abito from the sidelines by using Amaterasu, amplifying the effect of Fire Release, Blast Wave Wild Dance to a huge level. The whirlpool of huge orangish-black flames traveled in the direction of Jirioku. But, like the previous attack of Devapath, this attack also failed, and it can be clearly concluded that the gravity has become more powerful. The use of ninjutsu is useless, and we can't get any closer. It is best that we retreat, said Itachi. Jirioku, who was feeling pain all over his body, shouted, Yaowa. With his shout, a small black dot was formed above him, and it continued to grow bigger and bigger until it reached a diameter of 50 centimeters. Then, it stopped growing. The gravity had now increased to an enormous level, making it very difficult for anyone to stand near it. Itachi, the paths of pain, Abito, and Kisame had difficulty even breathing because the air itself had become heavy. Everyone, I present to you the power that can destroy the world, Black Hole, shouted Jirioku. As soon as Jirioku's voice rang out, everything started getting attracted towards the black hole, the ground, trees, stones, and, not to mention, the people standing nearby. Lady Katsuyu, now, said Jirioku, and as soon as he said this, he started feeling dizzy. Upon hearing Jirioku's command, Katsuyu in the Shikatsu forest attempted to use the reverse summoning jutsu. To her surprise, it didn't work. Why didn't the reverse summoning jutsu work? Katsuyu tried the reverse summoning jutsu again, but once more, it failed. Reverse summoning jutsu isn't working. It means only one thing: the space where Jirioku is present has become unstable, and due to this, reverse summoning is affected by it. Katsuyu attempted the reverse summoning jutsu once more, but it failed again. Just as Jirioku lost consciousness and his body started rising, he disappeared in a cloud of smoke. Finally, the reverse summoning jutsu worked. Although Jirioku had left, Abito was horrified by the turn of events, as he wasn't able to use Camui continuously. It was getting interrupted continuously. What kind of move is this that can even affect the space? Nagato knew that it was impossible for him to save all the paths of pain, as Devapath, the body of Yahiko, had become useless. What he cared most about was Yahiko's body, so he used the Azura path to hit the Deva path with multiple missiles, propelling Deva path's body backward. With the animal path, he summoned a huge rhinoceros and pushed Devapath's body even further backward. By now, Devapath's body had regained the ability to fly, so Nagato, using his full chakra, made Devapath, which was the body of Yahiko, get out of the range of the black hole effect. Abito, with difficulty, was able to retreat with Kisame, and Itachi used his Susanu's hand like a hoe, stabbing it into the ground to move out of the black hole's range. As soon as they walked out of the black hole's effect, the unstable black hole, as Jurioku hadn't mastered it thoroughly, exploded. The amount of energy it released was massive. When the massive explosion subsided, everything within a 100-meter radius was obliterated without a trace of its existence, leaving behind a crater as deep as 20 meters. Chapter 71. After the black hole explosion subsided, there was nothing left but a barren land, a large crater, and a destroyed forest. In the midst of the ruined forest, the rubble from Almighty Push flew into the air, and there stood Devapath, accompanied by Abito. Abito's face behind the mask looked grim. Not only had they failed to kill Jurioku, but their information was now in the hands of the slug. The only person alive with a contract with the slug was Tsunade, the future Hokage. It seems we'll have to be less active after this incident. Although we know that Jurioku might be in Shikatsu Forest where the slug reside, finding it will be very difficult, and maybe we won't even succeed, said Devapath. We won't be very active until the Three Tails is revived, said Abito. Kisame, come with me. Your hands need to be healed, as you can't fight with just one hand, said Abito. After that, all the Akatsuki members present there left the area. In the Shikatsu Forest. The last move he used took a huge toll on his body. Many bones are broken, and there are many internal injuries. What should we do? Said the smaller Katsuyu. I will use reverse summoning jutsu to bring Tsunade. Maybe she can help. Until then, keep him in the mucus full of natural energy, but don't let the levels of natural energy increase too much. It has healing properties, so it should help, said the larger Katsuyu. Okay, I will do just that. After that, the smaller Katsuyu, which was obviously bigger than Jurioku, lifted Jurioku and carried him to the lake. At this time, on the Hokage building, Tsunade was standing and said, "From today onwards, I will be the Hokage." Like this, she took over the Hokage position. Just at that moment, she felt Katsuyu summoning her. She got confused, but obviously, she couldn't be reverse summoned at a time like this. After completing all the formalities, she left the top of the Hokage building and went to her new office. Congratulations, Tsunade, for becoming the 5th Hokage, said Jiraiya with a smile. Congratulations, Tsunade-sama, said almost all the female ninja present in the room. Almost all the female ninjas admired Tsunade as their idol because, as female ninjas, they were not taken seriously. At this time, the Hokage office was quite crowded. The team of Asuma, Kakashi, Kurenai, and Might Guy was also present. Tsunade nodded, but her mind was elsewhere, and this was clearly evident to everyone present. Jiraiya asked, "What happened, Tsunade?" "Katsuyu was summoning me." "Maybe there's something important to discuss," said Tsunade. After saying that, she bit her thumb and used the summoning technique to summon a small Katsuyu. "Lady Tsunade, finally, you answered," said Katsuyu with relief. "What is it, Katsuyu?" "You seem to be in a hurry," said Tsunade. "Yes, Jurioku is injured very badly and needs urgent treatment. So, I was trying to reverse summon you. I am sorry if I disturbed you while you were doing something important, but it was an emergency," said Katsuyu. "What?" Almost everyone present in the room was shocked. They had witnessed firsthand how powerful Jurioku really was. He was so powerful that it had taken the combined efforts of almost every ninja to make him retreat. If he hadn't been using all those powerful moves in the battle for so long, there was a high chance that they wouldn't have been able to do so. How could anyone injure that monster? "And who has such strength to do so?" said Jiraiya. Master Jurioku called them Akatsuki, and there were 8 people at first. But by the end of the battle, there were 9 people fighting Master Jurioku, said Katsuyu. As soon as the name Akatsuki was mentioned, every Jonin leader's face became solemn because, after the invasion of Itachi and Kisame, every Jonin leader had been informed about a powerful group of rebels. "Katsuyu, tell everything from the beginning," said Tsunade with a serious face. Katsuyu nodded and started narrating. "Master Jiraiya summoned me, but it was in my smaller form. So I asked him for my bigger form to assist him in the battle. However, he told me that I couldn't help him in the battle but gave me a task to remove all his blood traces if they fell on the ground." "Remove blood traces? But why?" asked Tsunade. "In the middle of the battle, he told me that there is a ninja in Akatsuki who is immortal and can't die. He also has a special ability by which if he gets the blood of any person, then whatever injuries he has, whether fatal or normal, will be transferred to the person whose blood he has. Since he is immortal, nothing will happen to him, but the opponent will die immediately," said Katsuyu. Hearing this, every Jonin present had solemn expressions because this ability was unheard of and almost impossible to counter. Katsuyu continued, "This was nothing compared to the most bizarre thing. There were 6 people with Rinnegan eyes, the same eyes as the Sage of Six Paths. The way Master Jiraiya talked to all 6 of them, it was as if he was addressing only one person. The way he treated them, it was like they were some kind of puppets controlled by one person. I don't know much about their abilities, only Master Jiraiya knows. There were 2 more people, Kisame and Itachi. Although Master Jiraiya couldn't defeat everyone in the battle, he held his own against all of them with his strength. But things changed when Master Jiraiya decided to use some kind of technique that increased his strength to a whole new level. In this form, there was no one who could stand against him. But then, another person arrived who could move through space, and every attack just passed through his body. The technique that Master Jiraiya used had a high stamina consumption, so to finish things off, he used a move he called Black Hole. I can't even describe how much destruction it caused, but I know one thing for sure, this move was so destructive that it even disrupted the space in the area. I had to use reverse summoning 15 times just to summon Master Jiraiya back." Chapter 72. Everyone in the Hokage office had their mouths wide open in shock. They couldn't even imagine if Jiraiya had actually used this technique during their fight, they would have been dead for sure. "Lady Katsuyu, you're also from the era of the Sage of Six Paths. Is it even possible for 6 people to have the Rinnegan at the same time?" asked Jiraiya. "It's impossible, based on my memory. No one had the Rinnegan after the death of the Sage of Six Paths, so the possibility of someone collecting those eyes over these thousands of years is also unlikely," replied Katsuyu. "Is there anything else you can tell us about those 6 people?" inquired Jiraiya. "No, I've already shared everything I know," said Katsuyu. "Now, Lady Tsunade, you must hurry. Master Jiraiya's condition is critical, he's severely injured," Katsuyu said in a hurried tone. Tsunade remained silent for a moment before speaking. "I'm sorry, Katsuyu, but I can't assist in this matter. Regardless of his reasons, right or wrong, I can't heal him after what he has done to Konoha." After hearing this, Katsuyu didn't know what to say. After all, Tsunade was right, she wasn't obligated to heal Jiraiya. "Please, Lady Tsunade, you must save him. Although I know that what he did was wrong, he wasn't entirely in the wrong, was he? Think about it. Can anyone even dream of getting justice from influential people like the members of the Konoha Council or the Hyuga elders? For someone like you and Jiraiya-sama to say, 'If you had told me, I would have helped you achieve justice,' it all sounds good in fantasy. Even now, as the Hokage, what have you done about those Konoha Council members?" "Nothing, absolutely nothing." "Why? Just because they belong to 2 highly influential clans in Konoha? You can't take action against them because doing so might lead to something extreme, like a rebellion. It's not impossible, especially with the support of both the Shimura clan, whose backbone, Shimura Danzo, fell to Jiraiya, and the Sarutobi clan. If you punish both Konoha Council members, this village will be dragged into the quagmire of civil war. If this village had proper functioning with equality, Jiraiya might have a chance to get justice and he wouldn't even have to resort to this measure. Yamanaka Ino spoke with teary eyes and anger, and everyone present listened to her, realizing that what Ino said was right. Going through official channels to punish the Hyuga elders and Konoha council members was impossible. Whatever the reasons may be, I can't heal Jirioku. He poses too great a threat. If he were to attack Konoha again someday, given his strength, it would be very difficult for us to defend against him. As the Hokage, I can't do this, said Tsunade. But... Ino began to persuade Tsunade, but Shikamaru placed his hand on her shoulder, signaling her not to speak further. I've observed all of you, and based on the behavior of the Jonin leaders, Jiraiya-sama, and Hokage-sama, I'm certain that you know very little about the Akatsuki organization. I've known Jirioku since childhood, and one thing I know about him is that if you do him a favor, he will return it in kind. So, I suggest that if you want to learn more about the Akatsuki organization, your best bet is to heal Jirioku. He has fought many Akatsuki members, and the way Lady Katsuyu described the battles suggests that he knows a lot about the Akatsuki organization, said Shikamaru. Everyone fell into deep thought, and this included Tsunade because what Shikamaru mentioned was a point that needed consideration. Tsunade turned towards Jiraiya and asked, "What do you think, Jiraiya?" Although my investigation indicates that they are targeting the Ninetales, I have a hunch that it can't be this simple. There's more to it than we can see right now. So, I believe that obtaining more information on Akatsuki and their motives would be beneficial, said Jiraiya. You are all the most powerful Jonins we have. What are your opinions on this matter? Asked Tsunade. In my opinion, understanding more about the Akatsuki is more important. From Jirioku's behavior, I've concluded one thing: he doesn't seem inclined to go to extreme lengths just for revenge, or else nothing would have stopped him from slaughtering the entire Hyuga clan or the clans of Mitokado Hamura and Udatain Koharu. If you heal him, there's a high chance that he will continue to protect Konoha from future troubles, said Kakashi. If Kakashi agrees, then I agree too, said Guy. And with that, all the Jonin leaders present in the Hokage office reached an agreement. Okay, if you all agree, then I will heal Jirioku, said Tsunade. Katsuyu, reverse summon me, Tsunade instructed while standing. Yes, replied Katsuyu, her voice filled with joy. Katsuyu and Tsunade disappeared from the office. So, teacher, if you were to use your 8 inner gates, could you defeat Jirioku? He mentioned during his attack on Konoha that, except for you, no one else could stop him here, Tintin asked. If I were to open up to the 7th gate, I don't think it would be possible to defeat him. However, if I were to unlock all 8 gates, I believe I could defeat him, Guy replied. Hyuga Niji pondered, would Jirioku have been even stronger if he still had the Byakugan? This is something he would never know because Jirioku had reached the level he had always dreamed of, seeking freedom from the fate of being a caged bird. Chapter 73. At this time, Jiraiya said, I have a mission for all of you. Go to the location where Jirioku and Akatsuki members engaged in battle and try to find anything significant. Do all 4 of us need to go? Asuma asked in confusion. Yes, there's a high chance that other members of the Akatsuki organization may also be present, which could be troublesome, Jiraiya replied. Don't worry, Master Jiraiya. We will complete this mission, Guy said while giving a thumbs up and a grin. Jiraiya nodded and added, I would have joined you, but I have a lead on Orochimaru. Maybe I can find some clues about the Akatsuki during this venture. Everyone nodded in agreement after hearing Jiraiya's words. Alright, best of luck with your mission, Jiraiya said before leaving the Hokage's office. Kakashi turned to Naruto and Sakura and instructed, get ready. We'll be leaving. Meet me at the Konoha gate within half an hour. After saying this, Kakashi also departed using the body flicker technique. Naruto and Sakura hurriedly left to inform Sasuke about their mission. Sasuke was in the hospital. Although Itachi didn't use Tsukuyomi on him, he did meet with Itachi, who demonstrated the prowess of his Sharingan. Initially, Itachi had planned to use Tsukuyomi on Sasuke, but after receiving orders from Pain that they were going to attack Jirioku, he didn't use his Mangekyo Sharingan and avoided a major confrontation with Jiraiya as well. N, it is an established fact that Itachi only used the Mangekyo Sharingan when it was necessary, that's why he didn't go blind for a long time. After Naruto and Sakura informed Sasuke, he also prepared to leave with them. At the gate, Kakashi stood alongside other Jonin leaders. "Kakashi-sensei, it's a surprise for us that you arrived on time," Naruto remarked. "It's a serious and urgent matter, I can't afford to slack off," Kakashi replied. The others also agreed with Kakashi, and soon everyone gathered at the Konoha gate before departing from Konoha. In the Shikatsu forest. "How is he even alive?" remarked Tsunade after examining Jirioku. "Almost every bone in his body is broken, multiple internal injuries. How resilient his body is for him to survive such injuries," Tsunade commented. "Can he be cured?" asked Katsuyu. "Yes, but it's impossible here. I need equipment and assistance to heal him. I have to take him to the Konoha hospital, and only there can I heal him," Tsunade explained. N, there was a mistake on my part in the last chapter. Small Katsuyu will remain in Konoha. "Alright, then I will summon you back to Konoha," said Katsuyu. Tsunade nodded and reappeared in the Konoha office where Shizen was waiting. "Tsunade-sama, you returned so quickly?" Shizen said, looking confused. "Yes, Jirioku's condition is quite serious. I can't treat him there. Go and prepare a special and isolated room. I will treat him there, and remember that no one should know that I am treating Jirioku," Tsunade instructed. Shizen nodded and replied, "All right, Tsunade-sama. I will immediately arrange for a room like that. In the meantime, you can go through these documents." Tsunade glanced at the large stack of documents on her table, then looked at Shizen, who used the body flicker technique to leave quickly. "Damn it! Kid, you better provide me with good information, or I will break all your bones with my own hands," Tsunade muttered as she stamped the papers, pressing so hard that it seemed like she might break the table. After an hour, everything was arranged, and Katsuyu reverse summoned Jirioku to the room, where Tsunade began his treatment. It had been 6 hours since everyone left Konoha, and they finally arrived at the location where Jirioku and the Akatsuki members had fought. As they reached the vicinity of the battlefield, they first noticed broken trees, bent trees, some uprooted trees, and large stones out of place. They were shocked by the destruction but continued walking. After covering a distance of almost 200 meters, they stood in front of a massive crater, approximately 100 meters wide and 20 meters deep. The crater appeared empty and devoid of anything. "Wow, such a big crater," Naruto exclaimed. He was about to enter it when Kakashi stopped him, saying, "Stop." Naruto looked at Kakashi, puzzled. "What happened, Kakashi-sensei?" Kakashi didn't immediately respond to Naruto. Instead, he took out his kunai and hurled it into the crater. The kunai remained normal as long as it was outside the crater. However, as soon as it entered the crater's range, it rapidly descended and pierced the ground. Naruto still had a bewildered expression, trying to comprehend what had just happened. The speed of the kunai had suddenly increased. Seeing Naruto's perplexed look, Sasuke chimed in, "Idiot, the gravity inside that range is very high." Sasuke is right. The gravity inside the crater seems to be very high, so you all will stay outside. We will go inside to investigate, Kakashi explained. With that, Kakashi and the other Jonins entered the crater. The gravity inside was nearly 3 times the normal level, and in the center of the crater, it reached 5 times the normal gravity. After searching for 15 minutes without finding anything, they decided to leave the crater. It was then that Guy proposed, "My eternal rival Kakashi, let's have a race. Whoever gets out of the crater first wins." Kakashi also agreed to lighten the mood and ran with Guy. The result was that Guy won the match. Chapter 74, when Kakashi and Guy emerged from the crater, the Genin were also curious about the gravity. They entered cautiously, and almost everyone was able to withstand it. However, only Naruto, Sasuke, and Neji found it relatively easy to endure, while the others had more difficulty, especially those with weaker bodies like Ino and Tintin. Finally, Everyone exited the crater, and as soon as he emerged, Naruto asked Kakashi, "Kakashi-sensei, have you ever witnessed such destruction elsewhere?" "Yes, I've encountered it a few times. During the Third Ninja War, I fought alongside my teacher, the fourth Hokage, on the battlefront of the Earth Country. There were two Jinchuriki who could use the Tailed Beast's bomb, a move comparable to Jirioku's. That move caused destruction similar to what we just witnessed," Kakashi replied, reminiscing about his days on the battlefield. "Wow, were they as destructive as this?" Sakura inquired. "Yes, and it's quite different from Jirioku's condition. Just using this move once severely injured him, whereas those Jinchuriki could fire the Tailed Beast bomb in rapid succession. That's why Tailed Beasts are considered strategic weapon," Asuma explained. Kakashi looked at Asuma, his eyes filled with a warning to speak less, as Naruto was also present, and Naruto now knew about Tailed Beasts and was aware that he was the host of the Nine Tails. Asuma quieted down after catching Kakashi's warning glance, his embarrassment evident in his smile. This was the first time these Genins had heard such details about a tailed beast. "We didn't find anything inside the crater, so let's spread out and search the surroundings to see if we can find anything significant," Kakashi instructed. Everyone nodded and began searching their surroundings but found nothing of significance except for a sleeve with a red cloud pattern. Since they couldn't find anything, they promptly returned to Konoha. After their return, they learned about Jirioku's serious injury, and Ino Shikacho wanted to visit him, but Tsunade did not permit it. Jirioku's treatment continued for nearly 3 days. In the Hokage's office, Ino asked, "Hokage-sama, how is Jirioku's condition?" "I've never seen a body like his, it's quite unique. His body has exceptional healing properties. Even for a normal ninja, it would take around a year to fully recover after all the treatment, but with the speed he is healing, he should be able to recover within 4 to 5 months, Tsunade replied. Ino was delighted to hear this and inquired, "Hokage-sama, when do you think Jirioku will regain consciousness?" "I can't say for certain, but he should wake up within 2 to 3 days, Tsunade answered. Ino nodded and left the Hokage's office to visit Jirioku. The next night, 5 ninjas infiltrated the hospital ward where Jirioku was undergoing treatment. Inside the ward lay Jirioku, unconscious. "Finish him quickly," instructed the lead ninja. The others nodded and drew their short swords. One by one, they launched attacks on Jirioku from all directions, attempting to deliver a fatal blow in a single strike. As their swords approached different parts of Jirioku's body, they all inexplicably became stuck, as if an invisible barrier had formed around him. "Is he awake?" one of them questioned. However, before anyone could respond, a powerful repulsive force erupted from Jirioku's body, sending them all flying. It was like a small explosion that shook the ward's walls, creating a commotion felt by everyone in the hospital's vicinity. Ino happened to be in the hospital, looking after Jirioku. Exhausted, she had fallen asleep. Upon hearing the disturbance, she rushed into the ward where Jirioku lay. She saw him peacefully resting on the bed, showing no signs of waking up. The room was in chaos, with all the equipment broken inside Jirioku's ward. 3 ninjas were embedded in the wall, and on the floor, amidst the debris, lay 2 unconscious or possibly dead ninjas. But she didn't waste any time when she saw ninjas approaching. She immediately went to Jirioku's bed, covered his body with a bedsheet, and promptly left the room. Soon, ninjas started entering the ward with broken walls. Upon entering, they discovered scattered debris, but there was no sign of anyone except for the unconscious ninjas who had attempted to attack Jirioku. At this moment, the Hokage was informed, and Tsunade arrived in haste. When she saw the severely damaged room where Jirioku had been, she was shocked. She considered the possibility that Jirioku might have regained consciousness and fled Konoha. Thus, she was about to order a search when Ino approached her and whispered in her ear, "Hokage-sama, I have hidden Jirioku." Tsunade nodded and addressed the other ninjas, saying, "It appears that there were intruders in our village, but don't worry. We will locate them. You may all go and rest." With Tsunade's permission, everyone present left the area, except for Asuma, Kakashi, Guy, and Kurenai, who were aware of the situation. Tsunade then inquired, "Where is he?" "Follow me." Ino led them to an empty ward where she had concealed Jurioku. This was made possible because she was a sensory-type ninja, otherwise, it would have been challenging for anyone else. Tsunade examined Jurioku and determined that he was still unconscious. "Didn't he cause all this?" Tsunade questioned, puzzled. At this point, Kakashi remarked, "Hokage-sama, judging by the extent of the damage in the ward, it's undoubtedly the result of an attack that he is capable of." "But he is still unconscious," Tsunade noted, which left everyone in confusion except Ino. "I think I know the reason," Ino said. Chapter 75, You know the reason? "Then please tell me quickly," said Tsunade. "Once, out of curiosity, I asked Jurioku about the protective measures he takes when he's alone in the wilderness during a mission at night, especially since there's no one with him who can take shifts and keep guard. He told me that he created an automatic defense system around his body by combining his gravity manipulation ability and senses. If he falls asleep or becomes unconscious and someone approaches him with the intention of killing him, this ability activates automatically, repelling all attackers. By the time he wakes up, the threat is already neutralized," explained Ino. "I see. So, those ninjas entered Jurioku's ward with the intent to kill him, and his automatic defense system activated," said Kurenai. "But how was his location revealed?" "No one knew of his existence except for all of us present here," Tsunade wondered. Jiraiya, who returned today upon hearing the commotion, rushed to the hospital. Ino Shikacho also arrived. They entered the ward where Jurioku was currently placed. "What happened? Is Jurioku all right?" asked Shikamaru. "Yes," Ino replied before explaining everything that had happened. As everyone present continued to converse, Jurioku slowly stirred. He had been unconscious for many days, and it took him quite a while to process everything, from his defeat to being reverse summoned, to his current location Konoha. "Why am I in Konoha?" Jurioku inquired. As soon as Jurioku's voice emerged, everyone turned in his direction. "Jurioku, you've finally woken up," Ino exclaimed happily and came running, and just as she was about to hug Jurioku she stopped because everyone was present here. "Why am I here in Konoha?" "I should be in the Shikatsu forest right now," Jurioku questioned. "Kid, your injuries were serious and required urgent treatment. Katsuyu summoned me to heal you. Initially, I wasn't inclined to heal you, but Shikamaru suggested that since you fought members of the Akatsuki organization, you might possess valuable information about them. He guaranteed that he knows you from his childhood and that if we help you, you'll reciprocate by sharing information about the Akatsuki organization," Tsunade explained. "I see. Thank you for treating me," Jurioku expressed his genuine gratitude. And Shikamaru didn't lie. "I'm someone who repays kindness with kindness, so I'll tell you everything I know about it." "Ask whatever you want," Jurioku offered. At this point, Jiraiya spoke up. "Do you know the objective of the Akatsuki organization? Is it to capture the Nine Tails or more than that?" "Their objective is not only the Nine Tails but all nine-tailed beasts," Jurioku revealed. "What?" Everyone was shocked by this revelation. Capturing tailed beasts was no small matter, let alone the fact that Akatsuki was planning to capture all of them. "What is their purpose for capturing all the tailed beasts?" Jiraiya inquired again. "I have no idea," Jurioku replied. Everyone felt disappointed upon hearing this news as they had hoped for answers. "So, you fought the leader of the Akatsuki organization?" Jiraiya asked. "Yes, he goes by the name Pain," replied Jurioku. "But how can those 6 individuals possess the eyes of the Sage of the Six Paths?" inquired Jiraiya. "Those 6 are corpses controlled by one person who possesses the eyes of the Sage of the Six Paths," explained Jurioku. "Do you know who that person is?" Jiraiya asked with anticipation, as he had a hunch it might be his student. "I don't know," Jurioku replied. Jiraiya felt disappointed upon hearing this but continued to ask, "Do you know the abilities of all 6 of them?" "Yes, they call themselves the 6 Paths of Pain. Devapath can pull and push anyone or anything, but don't underestimate this ability. With it, he is capable of destroying an entire village. Azura Path can summon mechanized armor and various ballistic and mechanical weaponry. Human Path can extract the soul from an opponent's body with just a touch and obtain all the information that person possesses. Animal Path can summon multiple animals wherever it wants. Preta Path can absorb all chakra-based attacks and the chakra of anyone it comes into contact with. Lastly, Naraka Path can revive any of these bodies if they are destroyed, creating a new one, explained Jirioku. Everyone present here was shocked after listening to Jirioku's explanation. Such powerful abilities. I didn't expect these guys to be this formidable. Defeating them will be very tricky, said Shikaku. We know about Itachi and Kisame. Do you know anything about that masked man? Asked Kakashi. Not much, except for the fact that the Sharingan eyes that you and he have are the same. The difference is that this eye rejects your body, but his eyes don't. In fact, it's that person's eye, replied Jirioku. How is this even possible? This Sharingan eye was given to me by my friend Abito Uchiha, said Kakashi. I'm telling you what I sensed, and not to mention your eyes align too. You have your left eye as the Sharingan, and he has his right eye as the Sharingan, Jirioku explained. Is Abito alive? Kakashi's mind was flooded with flashbacks from his past. Jirioku continued, saying, not to mention, the masked man was present during the Uchiha massacre and killed all the Uchiha with Itachi and Root ninjas. And before you ask, yes, I was present during the Uchiha massacre, and I was the one who killed many of the Root ninjas during that time. At that time, I was not strong enough to fight either one of them. The masked man or Itachi would have easily defeated me. Chapter 76. Everyone present in the room was shocked after hearing about all of Akatsuki's abilities. From this, they could imagine how powerful Jirioku was, fighting them all alone and eventually forcing them to retreat solely with his strength, putting them on equal terms. Is there anything else you know about the Akatsuki organization? Tsunade asked. If Katsuyu has already informed you about the immortal ninja who can kill you if he gets your blood, then there's nothing else, Jirioku replied. Tsunade nodded and said, you can rest here. Consider it the price for your information. Jirioku nodded, and after that, everyone in the room, including Ino, left. Before leaving, Ino added, wait here, I'll bring your favorite chasu ramen. Jirioku responded, I'll need a lot of it. Tell Uncle Tucci to add more meat. Yes. Ino also left the hospital room to get chasu ramen. After everyone had left, Jirioku asked the system, isn't my strength 70% of Fujitora's? Then why is my stamina so low? Does Fujitora have low stamina? Host, I think you are mistaking strength for stamina. From Fujitora's template, you gain his strength, not his stamina. You build your own stamina through your training, replied the system. When were you going to tell me this? Jirioku inquired. I didn't find it necessary, host, as all the daily tasks I assign to you are perfectly suited to your body. Doing more than this may result in serious injuries, the system explained. Jirioku thought about it and realized that the training tasks given by the system made him tired after completing them. So, yes, what the system is saying is true. And now, host, your body will enter a rapid development period, and your stamina will reach new heights, said the system. Jirioku simply nodded and closed his eyes, waiting for Ino to bring him food. At this time, in the Hokage's office, Tsunade asked Kakashi, did you find out who those ninjas were? We couldn't gather much information about them, except for the fact that the equipment they used definitely belongs to our village, replied Kakashi. The village's name, but no identity. Who might they be? Tsunade pondered. At that moment, Yamato entered the office and bowed before Tsunade, handing her a scroll. Hokage-sama, I have completed the mission. Here is the report. Tsunade nodded and accepted the scroll. Yamato continued, Hokage-sama, I have something urgent to report. As you know, I was on a mission for over a week and wasn't present in Konoha during the third Hokage's death. During this mission, after the death of Danzo, the leader of Root, my tongue curse mark was removed, Yamato explained. Yes, why didn't I think of this? Maybe those ninjas who attacked Juryoku are from the former Root department, Kakashi mused. Tsunade also considered this and said, Yamato, go with Kakashi and see if you recognize any of those ninjas. Yamato left the Hokage's office with Kakashi and observed all the ninjas who were captured and admitted to the hospital. The impact of the gravity push had been significant on them. Do you recognize any of them? Kakashi asked. Yamato scrutinized each one carefully, and after observing one of them, he said, I know him. He was with me when I worked for Danzo. Then the most probable case is that all of them are former Root ninjas, Kakashi stated. Yamato nodded and left with Kakashi to report their findings to Tsunade. Upon learning of the matter, Tsunade said, Kakashi, go and immediately instruct Inoichi to check their memories to see if he can find anything significant. Yes. Kakashi responded, and just as he was about to leave, a ninja rushed into the Hokage's office. Hokage-sama, one of the ninjas we captured woke up, and before we could react, he killed the other 4 and then took his own life, the rushing ninja reported. What? What were you all doing? Tsunade asked angrily. There was silence in the Hokage's office for a few moments, which Kakashi broke as he said, now it is confirmed that every one of them must have been from Root, because such behavior can only be theirs. At the very least, go and preserve their bodies so that information can be extracted from their brains, Tsunade ordered. Kakashi and Yamato immediately left the Hokage's office to secure the bodies. In Konoha Hospital, Juryoku observed everything happening around him, but he didn't bother to take any action. After all, he was injured. At that moment, Ino entered the ward, but she wasn't alone, she had Ramen and Ayam with her. The day Hokage died you said thank you and goodbye. I found out the reason why you said goodbye the next day, the Tsuchi mentioned. Juryoku nodded. Just Is that all you have to say? Ayam asked, clearly upset, as she had always treated Juryoku like her own younger brother. Juryoku remained silent, saying nothing. Ayam, calm down. He had his reasons, and he's injured right now, the Tsuchi tried to soothe Ayam. Afterwards, Ino and Ayam fed Juryoku with their own hands. Although it wasn't necessary because Juryoku could use gravity to control the chopsticks and bowl and eat on his own, Ino and Ayam insisted on helping him and he couldn't say no to it. Juryoku ate a substantial amount of meat and ramen as he needed to recover quickly. After finishing his meal, Ino, Ayam, and the Tsuchi left, and Juryoku fell asleep. For the next month, Juryoku's life continued in this manner. By now, Juryoku was able to move, thanks to his healing ability, which had been further boosted by his rest and meat consumption. Chapter 77. At this time, in the Yamanaka clan's land, Juryoku was performing basic muscle exercises because he couldn't engage in strenuous activities yet. He estimated it would take him another month to fully recover. Due to this, his training progress had come to a halt. Although I can't do strenuous exercises, at least I can master Sage Mode this month. Maybe it will also enhance my healing abilities while mastering Sage Mode, thought Juryoku. Just then, Ino's mother arrived with a tray of food in her hand. Here, Juryoku, your meal is ready. Come and eat. Thank you, replied Juryoku, taking the tray from her and placing it on the table. After finishing his meal, he spoke, please inform Ino and Uncle Inoichi that I will be leaving today. Thank you very much for welcoming me into your clan and ensuring my safety. Otherwise, I would have had to leave Konoha because I can't trust anyone else here. You're leaving today? Haven't you discussed this with Ino? Inquired Ino's mother. Juryoku shook his head. Ino's mother pondered for a moment and then said, although I don't know your true feelings for Ino, I am certain that she loves you. Juryoku remained silent, struggling to express his emotions. His sole objective had always been to seek revenge for his parents, and while he understood Ino's feelings, he didn't know how to respond. Furthermore, there was also Joken, who had similar feelings for him, making his situation even more complex. Ino's mother eventually left. A few hours later, when Ino returned home, she learned from her mother that Jurioku would be leaving today. So, she immediately went to meet Jurioku, who was sitting under the shade of a tree. Ino stood near Jurioku and asked, "So, are you leaving today?" Replied Jurioku. "So, what are your future plans?" inquired Ino. "Just becoming stronger is my future plan." "I haven't planned anything further," said Jurioku. "So, you have no plans to marry Joken and become the husband of the Fire Country daimyo?" asked Ino. Jurioku shook his head and said, "I don't have any such specific plans. By the way, you mentioned many times that you can even sense emotions and tell if a person is lying or harbors hostility towards you. Is this correct?" questioned Ino. Nodded Jurioku. "Then, idiot, can't you tell that I love you, you idiot, idiot, idiot?" said Ino while softly punching Jurioku each time she punched him. Jurioku didn't resist and allowed Ino to vent. "Ino, I don't know how I feel about you and Joken, but I only know one thing, in this whole world, if anyone is dear to me, it would be you and Joken. I don't care about anyone else's existence anyway. And not to mention, you both have expressed the same feelings for me, so I can't respond to one of you and break the other's heart," said Jurioku. "Is it so hard?" "Let me tell you, it is very simple," said Ino and kissed Jurioku on his lips. /n, do not judge me, this Naruto world. After that, Ino withdrew from Jurioku's face, and her own face turned as red as a tomato. What got into me? It's as if someone used the mind transfer technique on me, thought Ino to herself. I will remember this, and do not worry. If you have shown love for me, then I will not neglect you like before. This, I promise you, said Jurioku. Ino just stood there like a statue with her face still flushed. A few meters away, behind the door, Inoichi was grinding his teeth. My daughter was taken by this bastard. What will I do? No, I will confront him. Shut up, you're an idiot. Don't you see Ino was finally able to express her love, and Jurioku didn't reject her, said Ino's mother. My daughter is gone, said Inoichi with a tearful face, biting his shirt. You're just overreacting, said Ino's mother. Finally, Ino calmed down, realizing that what she had done couldn't be changed. Jurioku broke the silence between them and said, Uncle Inoichi and Aunt, please come. My time for leaving is getting close. Ino turned around and saw her father and mother. She asked, Father, Mother, when did you arrive? Did you see anything? No, nothing, said Inoichi, almost on the verge of tears again. They watched the whole thing, you kissing me. And not only them, but even Shikamaru and Choji, who were hiding in the bushes using the transformation technique, said Jurioku. As soon as Jurioku's voice fell, two bushes transformed into Shikamaru and Choji, respectively. They both wore embarrassed smiles and raised their hands, saying, Hello. You all watched the whole thing? Asked Ino, her face still red. I can perceive anything within a 10-mile radius from me. Why would I lie? Said Jurioku. The others again wore embarrassed smiles and even looked ashamed. Ino punched Jurioku's shoulder again and shouted with her red face, You idiot, we don't say such things. Jurioku was like, What the hell? I'm telling the truth, you know. By the way, Ino, you were quite bold, I must say, said Ino's mother while covering her face to hide her smile. Mother, you too, said Ino. Yeah, Auntie is correct. You were too bold, said Shikamaru, teasing Ino. Father, shouted Ino and hugged Inoichi. Everyone had smiles on their faces as Ino had finally expressed her love, and Jurioku had also accepted her love. Chapter 78, Tsunade was informed about Jurioku's departure by Shikamaru, clearly at Jurioku's own request. Tsunade promptly arrived at the Yamanaka clan compound where Jurioku was staying. You haven't healed properly. You'll need more rest to make a full recovery. Although your recovery speed is surprisingly fast, you'll require another month if you continue at this rate, Tsunade said. You're correct, and it's within my calculations. I know that I can't train during the entire month, but in the meantime, I can work on mastering Sage Mode since it doesn't require me to be in peak physical condition. It requires control over chakra and nature energy, which I can practice in my current body condition, replied Jirioku. Tsunade nodded without saying anything further. Afterward, Jirioku used the summoning technique, and Katsuyu appeared in front of him. It's nice to see you doing well, Master Jirioku. Now, if you may, please, requested Jirioku. Katsuyu nodded, and Jirioku disappeared in a cloud of smoke. As he left, he smiled and nodded towards Ino. Lady Tsunade, whenever you need me, I will be available, Katsuyu said to Tsunade. Tsunade simply nodded, and Katsuyu also vanished in a cloud of smoke. For a few moments after Jirioku left, there was silence. Ino broke the silence, saying, "Did you notice he smiled many times today compared to before? It's as if there was a burden on him that has now been released." There was indeed a burden on him, especially to seek revenge for his parents' death, and now that he has taken his revenge, he seems to be more liberated, said Inoichi, rubbing Ino's head. Everyone present here nodded, showing their agreement with Inoichi's statement. I can't even imagine how powerful Jirioku will become after mastering Sage Mode, said Shikaku. Yes, not to mention that when he fought Jiraiya-sama, he used some kind of technique that boosted his strength so much that he could easily contend with Jiraiya-sama and even defeat him with ease, added Choza from the sidelines. Although we can't be as strong as him, at the very least, we can try not to fall too far behind him, said Shikamaru. Shikaku placed his hand on Shikamaru's head and said, and to achieve that, you need to work hard. Sigh, what a drag. Isn't there an easier method? Grumbled Shikamaru. Everyone started laughing after hearing Shikamaru's comment. In the Shikatsu forest, Jirioku appeared in a cloud of smoke, and before him stood Katsuyu, who was over 1,200 feet in size. Welcome, Master Jirioku, greeted the largest Katsuyu. It's nice to meet you, Lady Katsuyu. I've longed to meet you in person and witness your true and colossal form. Though I am blind and can't literally see you with my eyes, my senses allow me to perceive your presence, explained Jirioku. You wish to learn Sage Mode, which is commendable. I can assist you with that, but you must understand that it's a very challenging art, and you could even risk your life during the process, cautioned Katsuyu. I am fully aware of the risks involved in mastering Sage Mode, and I am determined to devote myself entirely to its pursuit, declared Jirioku with unwavering determination. Katsuyu agreed and said, very well, then. My smaller forms will accompany you and provide assistance as you strive to learn Sage Mode. Jirioku nodded and before departing, he inquired, my sword should still be here, correct? Yes, your sword has been carefully kept. It's located right beside the slug pond where you will be mastering Sage Mode, replied Katsuyu. With that, Jirioku was guided by the smaller Katsuyu to the pond, where he would begin his journey to master Sage Mode. First, he retrieved his sword, which he had left there for an entire month. Jirioku said to Katsuyu, Lady Katsuyu, please tell me everything about Sage Mode, including its effectiveness. Also, if you don't mind, I'd like to clean my sword while listening to you. I haven't cleaned my sword in a whole month. Yes, Master Jirioku, you can clean your sword while I explain Sage Mode to you, replied Katsuyu. Jirioku nodded and took out a cloth to clean his sword while Katsuyu explained Sage Mode. In Sage Mode, you will become many times stronger than your base self. In the Sage Mode taught by me, you will possess a unique ability, your body will become resilient, making attacks less effective against you, similar to my own body. I can absorb almost all physical attacks on my body, explained Katsuyu. That's indeed a remarkable attribute, commented Jirioku. Yes, and if you use the final move known as the Black Hole, the injuries you receive will be significantly reduced if you are in the Sage Mode, added Katsuyu. Jirioku nodded in understanding. Now, let's discuss the dangers you will face while mastering Sage Mode. If someone fails to control the natural energy, their entire body can be dissolved by the acid. It's the most painful death among all the places where Sage Mode is taught, cautioned Katsuyu. That's why I choose candidates for mastering Sage Mode very carefully, concluded Katsuyu. Do not worry, Lady Katsuyu. I am someone who has very high control over chakra, so you don't have to worry, assured Juryoku. After saying this, Juryoku sheathed his sword and inquired, so, I have to jump into the pond to feel the natural energy, correct? Yes, replied Katsuyu. Juryoku opened his kimono and, wearing only pants, jumped into the pond with Katsuyu on his shoulder. And so, Juryoku's journey to Master Sage Mode began. Chapter 79, 3 years later, somewhere near Sunagakure. Finally, I am able to showcase my art to the world. After the leader fought that Juryoku guy, he just restricted our freedom of movement. We were only sent on important missions, said the yellow-haired Deidara. Shut up and focus on the task given by the leader, said Sasori. After that, they continued moving, and the next evening, at 5 o'clock, Sunagakure was attacked by Deidara alone and Sasori remained at the gate of Sunagakure. Deidara succeeded in capturing Gaara at the cost of his own hand in the fight. Afterward, Sasori and Deidara left Sunagakure that same night. Sunagakure's Jonin Baki immediately sent a letter to Konoha, asking for help and informing them about the Akatsuki organization's invasion. Since they were allies, they had received information on the Akatsuki organization from Konoha. They were completely different people from the ones we had information on. Even though we were on alert, we were unable to do anything, muttered Baki in frustration after sending the ninja away. The next morning, Team Kakashi gathered, and Naruto, who had returned from 3 years of training, was causing a commotion, demanding a C-rank mission. Naruto, I am giving you this mission so that you can become accustomed to teamwork. After all, you haven't participated in any missions in these past 3 years, said Tsunade. Don't worry, Lady Hokage. We will execute the mission perfectly, said Sakura while holding Naruto down. Humph, Grandpa, the third Hokage, was better than you, muttered Naruto. As soon as Sakura heard it, she covered Naruto's mouth. What did you say? Asked Tsunade aggressively. Just at that moment, a woman came running with a paper in her hand. She was from the deciphering corps. Hokage-sama, this is the urgent letter sent by Sunagakure this morning. I have deciphered it. Please take a look, said the woman. Tsunade took the paper from the woman's hand, read it carefully, and said, so they've finally made their move. What is it, Hokage-sama? Asked Kakashi. The Kazekage has been captured by the Akatsuki, and Sunagakure has requested our assistance, said Tsunade. Give us your orders, Grandma Tsunade. We'll head to Sunagakure immediately, said Naruto. Tsunade nodded. Okay, Team 7, I'm assigning you an S-rank mission to rescue the Kazekage, said Tsunade. Yes, said Kakashi. Just as they were about to leave, Tsunade stopped them and said, take Team 10 with you. Although Asuma is not in the village, the Inoshikacho trio will be very helpful to all of you. We don't know exactly how powerful the Akatsuki members who kidnapped Gaara are, so tell them to postpone their preparations for the Chunin exams. Kakashi nodded and turned towards Sakura and Naruto, saying, both of you, go and inform Shikamaru about this. Tell them to meet me at the Konoha gate as soon as possible. Both Sakura and Naruto nodded and left the Hokage building to inform Team 10 about their mission. Within an hour, Team Kakashi and Team 10 were assembled. It's nice to see you again, Naruto. After so many years, you've grown taller, said Ino. Nice to see you too, replied Naruto while scratching the back of his head. You all take care, and Kakashi, I'm entrusting their lives to you. Take care of them, said Tsunade. After that, they departed, and at that moment, Jiraiya appeared beside Tsunade and said, is it a good idea to let Naruto go to the Akatsuki organization when they are actively searching for him? I have no other option. This is an emergency, and they are capable enough, you know that, replied Tsunade. Jiraiya nodded and said, we can only hope for the best. Tsunade also agreed with Jiraiya. The next day, Tsunade won the gambling match, which was clearly a bad omen since whenever she won, something bad would happen. Shizune, we need to send reinforcements to Sunagakure. Team Guy was supposed to arrive. Have they arrived? Asked Tsunade. Yes, they are about to arrive. They should be reaching Konoha any time now, replied Shizune. Shizune wanted to ask if sending reinforcements would be excessive, but then she remembered the power of the Akatsuki members and refrained from asking any further questions. At this moment, Tsunade thought of a blind boy in a white overcoat and muttered, "Should I call him too?" "Did you say something, my lady?" asked Shizune in confusion. "Nothing. Let's go. We will meet them at the Konoha gate," said Tsunade. After saying this, Tsunade began walking in the direction of the Konoha gate, with Shizune following behind. Soon, Tsunade and Shizune reached the Konoha gate, and after a few minutes, Guy and his team arrived. They saw Tsunade lost in thought. "Hokage-sama, are you waiting for someone?" Tintin asked. "Huh? Oh, I was waiting for you guys. I have an S-rank mission for all of you, Team Guy. The Kazekage has been kidnapped by the Akatsuki organization. I've already sent Team Kakashi and Team 10 ahead of you, so you guys should follow them," said Tsunade. "Don't worry, Hokage-sama. We will definitely complete the job successfully and demonstrate the power of youth," said Guy, giving a thumbs up and displaying his teeth. "Yes, we will show the world the power of youth," added Lee, also giving a thumbs up and displaying his teeth. "We will depart right away, and we should be able to reach Sunagakure within a day," said Mike Guy. "Actually, hold on a moment. I will see if I can summon him. If he joins you on this mission, I will be less anxious," said Tsunade. Everyone present was confused, but Niji and Shizune had a hunch about whom Tsunade might be referring to. Rajin no Jirioku. Chapter 80, Tsunade bit her thumb, placed her hand on the ground, and utilized the summoning technique. With a cloud of smoke, a small Katsuyu appeared in front of Tsunade. "Lady Tsunade, how can I assist you?" Katsuyu inquired upon her appearance. "Is Jirioku still residing in the Shikatsu forest?" Tsunade asked. "Yes, Master Jirioku has been training in the Shikatsu forest for the past 3 years, Katsuyu replied. "Could you please inform him that Akatsuki members have invaded Sunagakure? If he wishes, he can also head to Sunagakure to combat the Akatsuki members, as he once mentioned that we should notify him if we encounter any Akatsuki members," Tsunade requested. "Of course, I'll notify Master Jirioku right away. He's probably in the midst of training, so you may need to wait for a few moments," Katsuyu responded. "Can't you inform him even while he's training?" Tsunade asked, puzzled. "His training is quite unique, and he cannot be interrupted during it," Katsuyu explained. Now, not only Tsunade but also everyone present was perplexed. In the Shikatsu forest, Katsuyu arrived at a water pond, but there was something peculiar about it. In the center of the pond, there was a pit-like structure. However, if someone approached the pit, they would discover that it was made entirely of water. Whenever Master Jirioku trains, he makes the water in the pond heavy due to his gravity technique, which creates a small pit of water within the pond, Katsuyu explained. "Master Jirioku, I bring important news." "Please listen," Katsuyu shouted with all her might. Inside the pond was an 18-year-old young man with a bare body, perfectly defined muscle lines clearly visible. He was swinging his sword, and with each swing, water was displaced for several feet. This demonstrated the boy's immense strength because displacing water with increased density and weight to such a level was extremely challenging. This young man was none other than Jirioku. Jirioku, at that moment, heard Katsuyu's voice and stopped swinging his sword. He released the effect of gravity on the pond, and soon the pond returned to its normal state. With incredible speed, Jirioku swam up and emerged from the pond, standing on its surface. "Finally, you're out, Master Jirioku. I thought you were going to take longer than this," Katsuyu remarked. "I have completed my daily goal and was just practicing." "What's the important news, Lady Katsuyu?" Jirioku inquired. "It's the Akatsuki organization. They attacked Sunagakure and captured the Kazekage." As you once told Lady Tsunade to inform you about any Akatsuki members, she informed me about this, Katsuyu replied. Jirioku shook his head and said, she must be worried about the ninjas of her village, which is why she called for me. But it has been 3 years since I arrived in the Shikatsu forest, and during this time, I haven't left even once, except for some experimental sessions with the destructive moves I created. It's time to leave, Jirioku declared. This forest will revert to its former state, and I'll be lonely again with no one to talk to, Katsuyu lamented. Don't worry, Lady Katsuyu. I find this place very peaceful, and I'll come here often whenever I'm free, Jirioku reassured her. Katsuyu nodded and said, you are welcome here at any time. Okay, should I summon you to Konoha then? Katsuyu asked. Yes, if you may, please, Jirioku responded. He was now wearing his clothes, a white overcoat, a black kimono, black pants, and his sword in his right hand. Once Jirioku was ready, he was summoned to Konoha. In Konoha, Katsuyu employed the summoning technique, and a cloud of smoke materialized. Gradually, the smoke began to dissipate, and as it cleared, Jirioku came into view. Upon Jirioku's appearance, the air grew heavy simply from his presence. The aura radiating from his body wasn't immense, but everyone present was well aware that Jirioku had grown significantly stronger in the 3 years since they last met. We meet again, Hokage, Jirioku greeted. You've become much more powerful than you were 3 years ago. I believe that if you were to face the Akatsuki now, you wouldn't lose, Tsunade remarked. That's a fact, Jirioku concurred, agreeing with Tsunade's assessment. Katsuyu must have already informed you about the Akatsuki's invasion of Sunagakure and their capture of the Kazekage, Tsunade said. That's precisely why I'm here, Jirioku replied. Then time is of the essence here. If you would, please follow Team Guy, they're heading to Sunagakure, Tsunade instructed. Jirioku nodded and turned towards Niji, saying, you've become quite strong, Hyuga Niji. I can't afford to fall too far behind you, can I? Niji responded. But you're already far behind me, Jirioku teased. Hey, can't you be humble for a second? Tintin chimed in from the side. I was just stating the truth. Anyways, as Hokage said, time is of the essence, so let's get moving, Jirioku remarked. I am the Blue Beast of Konoha. Nice to meet you, Might Guy greeted with his thumbs up, displaying his teeth. Jirioku nodded in response. Might Guy then turned to Lee and said, Lee, we can reach Sunagakure within a day if we travel at our full speed and showcase the power of youth. Guy-sensei, I think we can reach Sunagakure within half a day if we travel at our full speed and demonstrate the full power of youth, Lee suggested. And with that, both of them sprinted away as if in a race. As enthusiastic as ever, Tsunade remarked. Take care of them, and by the way, your girlfriend is also on this mission, Tsunade added. Did you send her on this mission as a guarantee to compel me to go? Jirioku asked, his conqueror haki rising. Calm down, will you? I sent her with Team Kakashi. After all, Akatsuki members are very powerful, and Ino Shikacho can serve as backup. You know very well how high IQ Shikamaru is, Tsunade explained. You're not lying, that's good, Jirioku responded before departing. Chapter 81, Somewhere Between Sunagakure and Konoha. Naruto, slow down. We can't reach Sunagakure faster if we run faster, you'll just tire yourself out, Sakura said. I know how it feels to lose a friend. After Sasuke left the village 3 years ago, I can't lose another one of my friends. Not to mention, the Akatsuki are targeting Gaara just because of the tailed beast inside his body. I can't let them succeed in having Gaara, Naruto declared. Others present here also understood how Naruto felt right now. Kakashi-sensei, how long will it take us to reach Sunagakure? Naruto asked. By tomorrow evening, we should be able to reach Sunagakure, Kakashi replied. Naruto nodded and continued moving at a faster pace. The next evening, they finally reached Sunagakure, and upon arrival, they received news that Kankuro was injured. Sakura immediately began treating Kankuro as his condition was critical. After Kankuro was treated, and he provided information about Sasori and a cloth that would aid in locating the culprits, Kakashi sent his ninja hounds to search for the place indicated by the cloth. As the hounds left, a person arrived with a scroll. While handing it to Kakashi, he said, "This is a message from the Hokage." Kakashi accepted the scroll and read the message. After reading that Team Dai was coming, he felt relieved, but as he read further, he was shocked to learn that Jirioku was also on his way. Seeing a shocked Kakashi, Naruto, Shikamaru, and Choji simultaneously asked, "What happened, Kakashi-sensei?" "Hokage told us that Team Dai is coming to Sunagakure, and they are not alone, Jirioku is also coming with them." Hokage asked him to join the mission, Kakashi explained. "Why is Granny calling that guy?" Naruto exclaimed angrily. "I understand your anger towards Jirioku, but it's not his fault that he's so strong. It's not like Sasuke was the only one weaker than Jirioku and got humiliated. Niji and we were not spared from his disdain because of our strength, but we didn't rebel, did we? Sasuke had thought of rebelling from the beginning, which is why he did. It's as simple as that. Jirioku coming on this mission is a good thing. If there are any unexpected turns, Jirioku will be there, and we will not be harmed in any way, and not to mention chances for saving Kazekage will be higher," Shikamaru reasoned. "Damn it," Naruto muttered in frustration for being weak and for the arrival of Jirioku too. The next morning, Pakken approached Kakashi and provided information about the location he had obtained after the investigation. "Pakken, I have one more thing to ask of you. Please inform Guy and his team about this," Kakashi requested. Pakken nodded and then left. As Jirioku ran, he mentally requested, "Show me my character panel," to the system. Ding! Name, Hyuga Jirioku. Chakra, Lin level. Template, Isho Fujitora, 99.97%. Strength, Kage high level, Super Kage level. Ability, Kekkei Genkai, Swift Release, Observation Haki, top, Armament Haki, top, Swordsmanship, top, Conqueror Haki, top. Daily Task, Increase Template by 0.03%. Depend on the host. Long-Term Task, Sharingan, 10/10, Byakugan, 10/10. /N, I took it from Narutopedia, look for just power levels, ignore the rest. So, do you always remain this quiet? Don't you speak? Tintin asked. What is there to speak about? I don't think there is any topic to talk about, Jirioku replied. Okay, then how about I give you a topic? Let's assume that only we were going, and you didn't come with us. What would be our chances of rescuing the Kazekage? Tintin proposed. Niji and the others were eager to hear Jirioku's answer. You wouldn't have been able to save the Kazekage, Jirioku stated. Why? Because we're not strong? Tintin inquired. Not at all. With the strength of all of you, it wouldn't be that hard to defeat those Akatsuki members. But even with my presence, it would be impossible for us to save the Kazekage because by the time we reach his location, he must be dead, Jirioku explained. Jirioku's words came as a surprise to all of them because they weren't expecting such an answer from him. They had thought Jirioku would tell them they were weak. How? Tintin asked. We will see about that, Jirioku replied. He didn't give a proper reason for his answer. Just as they were talking, Pakken arrived in front of Guy. Hey, Pakken, what are you doing here? Where is Kakashi? Guy asked in surprise. He is in Sunagakure. He sent me here to inform you that we have located the Kazekage's whereabouts, and it is on the borders of the river country and wind country. Since you are closest to the location, he asked you to go there. He will also follow from behind and try to reach there as soon as possible, Pakken reported. Okay, team, we will be leading with Pakken and trying to reach the location as soon as possible, Guy said. Everyone nodded, and they set off, following Pakken. After traveling for half the distance, Pakken suddenly stopped and said, Someone is here, in front of us. Everyone became alert, and Niji activated his Byakugan, saying, "No, he is behind us." Such a huge amount of chakra, almost half of Jirioku's chakra. Just as Niji finished speaking, a white conical shape rapidly approached them. Everyone dodged it, and the white object collided with a rock, completely obliterating it. The area filled with dust, and when it settled, Kisame appeared, holding his weapon, Samahata. Kisame Hashigaki, S-rank rebel of Kirigakure, Niji identified. "Oh, so you know me?" Kisame remarked, displaying his teeth. "Wouldn't they know? After all, I am the one who told them about you," came a voice. As soon as Kisame heard this voice, he became momentarily confused, feeling like he had heard it before. After Jirioku's voice came, Niji and the others moved away from his path, and Jirioku became clearly visible. "What's with the flashy entry?" "According to me, this was trash," Jirioku commented. "You? What are you doing here?" Kisame asked in shock, gripping Samahata tightly. "It's good that you are here. I can take revenge for what you did 3 years ago," Kisame stated. "Oh really? But why is your hand shaking?" Jirioku inquired while walking in Kisame's direction. "It's excitement, to tear you into pieces," Kisame replied. "You can lie to yourself and try to boost your morale, but nothing more than that. Let me tell you, your whole body wants to run even though it's not your own body, am I correct?" Jirioku countered. Chapter 82, "I don't fear you at all," said Kisame, using water release, for Shark's Rain. Jirioku raised his head and said, "Black hole." A miniature black hole, about 1 centimeter in size, formed in Jirioku's hand. The water release unleashed by Kisame was completely absorbed into the black hole. Jirioku then hurled the black hole towards Kisame. When it neared Kisame, it exploded with a resounding boom, creating a crater with a 5-meter radius. No one present had any idea how powerful Jirioku had become. After witnessing Jirioku cause such destruction with a casual move, they couldn't even fathom the strength of his attack when he got serious. Kisame appeared in front of Jirioku, attacking him with his Samahata. Jirioku didn't bother unsheathing his sword, he simply defended Kisame's attack with the wooden sheath of his sword. Kisame backed away and tossed Samahata into the air, using water release, exploding water colliding wave. Soon, the entire area was filled with water. Everyone dodged and moved to higher stone peaks, but Jirioku remained still, submerged in the water. However, the water didn't even touch Jirioku. Within a 3-meter radius of him, there was no water due to the gravity barrier he had created around himself. Kisame stood on the water's surface and unleashed water release, 5 feeding sharks, sending 5 shark bombs in Jirioku's direction to attack him. In response, Jirioku unsheathed his sword and casually waved it 3 times, effortlessly cutting through all the water sharks. The remaining, undiminished force of sword slash tore through the water and soared into the air. Jirioku began to rise in the water and soon reached the water's surface, standing on it. 2 Kisame clones appeared beside Jirioku. They were water clones created by Kisame. With their hands outstretched, they employed the water prison technique, trapping Jirioku inside a sphere of water. However, Jirioku stood his ground and suddenly released a tremendous amount of repulsion from his body, shattering the water sphere that had entrapped him. "Damn it! None of my attacks work against him," said Kisame in frustration. "Are you done playing?" asked Jirioku. "Referring to my attacks as play is an insult to me," retorted Kisame. "I've been insulting you from the very beginning. If I respected you as a warrior, I would have gone all out and killed you instantly," said Jirioku. "Let's end this facade, shall we? I don't think you can provide any sort of challenge, especially considering you're only using 30% of your chakra," added Jirioku. After saying that, Jirioku disappeared and reappeared behind Kisame, sheathing his sword. Kisame questioned, "You could have ended the battle right from the beginning. Why didn't you?" "It's just that I haven't fought in the past 3 years, so I was testing whether my senses are still as keen. I'm happy to say that I haven't lost a single bit of my fighting sense," said Jirioku. After Jirioku's voice fell silent, Kisame's body split into 3 halves and fell to the ground. Jirioku's speed was incredibly fast. Within a second, he slashed Kisame's body 3 times and sheathed his sword. Jirioku's physical speed, combined with the swift release, body flicker technique, was so rapid that no one could see him move. Even Guy only saw a blur. At this moment, inside the cave where Shikaku was being sealed inside the ghetto statue, Kisame's projection began to flicker. Pain said, "Calm down, Kisame, and maintain your focus." Kisame focused and stabilized himself. At the same time, Itachi also opened his eyes. He had returned after fighting Kakashi and the others. "So you both were defeated so easily? Can't you hold them off for a while?" asked Deidara. "Quiet," replied Pain. "So you couldn't delay them any longer?" asked Pain again. "No, the team I faced included Kakashi, the Ninetales Jinchuriki, Ino Shikacho, and others. I had a limited amount of chakra, so I could only do so much," explained Itachi. "What about you, Kisame?" inquired Pain. "It was that blind boy," replied Kisame. Pain's eyes narrowed, and he asked, "Do you mean the Rajin no Jirioku?" "Yes, who else could it be?" said Kisame. "He has become far stronger than he was 3 years ago. Even though I had only 30% of my chakra, he was toying with me. When he got serious, it was a one-shot kill," said Kisame. "So it's him," said Pain, looking at Sasori and Deidara. "After you finish sealing the One-Tails, run as far away as possible and as quickly as possible. If you're caught by Jirioku, no one will be able to save you." Deidara responded, "We're not that weak, are we?" Pain replied, "I'm not saying you're weak, but Jirioku is exceptionally strong. The rest is up to both of you." After that, they continued sealing Shikaku into the ghetto statue. After Jirioku cut Kisame's body into 3 parts, Niji was shocked. He had thought he would see Jirioku fighting at his full power, but all his expectations were in vain. After witnessing Jirioku's battle, he understood that Jirioku had been toying with Kisame. "I guess I can't reach his level in this lifetime," Niji muttered. Guy overheard and said, "Niji, you can't control someone else becoming stronger than you, but you can try to become as strong as them through dedication. Make that person's strength your goal to achieve in this life." "Yes, Guy-sensei," Niji replied. Chapter 83, finally, they reached the location. Pakken said, "This is the spot where I'm detecting Gaara's scent and the individual who captured him." Just at that moment, Team Kakashi and Team 10 arrived. Guy turned toward them and said, "As usual, you're late, Kakashi." "Hello, Guy. What's the situation inside?" Kakashi inquired. "We've just arrived too, and just before we could investigate, you showed up," Guy replied. "But you were quite close to this location, right?" Kakashi asked. "You're right, Kakashi, but we were halted by someone who looked like a shark. Later, we stopped to rest because everyone was tired," Guy explained. "You mean Hoshigaki Kisame, don't you?" "We were also obstructed by Uchiha Itachi," Kakashi added. At this point, Shikamaru interjected, "By the way, did you also notice that the person you fought was different from the one who appeared dead?" "Yes, the person who initially confronted us was Hoshigaki Kisame, but we don't know why he transformed into someone else," Niji said. This puzzled everyone present. At that moment, Jirioku's voice chimed in. "It's a technique used by the leader of Akatsuki, the shape-shifting technique. By using this technique, Pain allocates 30% of one person's chakra to another person. In this case, Kisame's and Itachi's chakra were assigned to 2 different individuals, making them medium for Itachi and Kisame, allowing Kisame and Itachi to delay us. However, this technique has a severe drawback: it kills the person who serves as the medium." Firstly, everyone was shocked after hearing how this technique works, and secondly, upon seeing Jirioku, Team 10 members were quite happy. "I wasn't expecting this. That ninja from our village was just used as a sacrifice to delay us," said Chio, her tone filled with anger. "It is reasonable, after all, you can't expect an ordinary ninja to delay someone of Kakashi's caliber, not to mention he wasn't alone, and the same goes for Team Guy, replied Jirioku. Are you saying that our Sunagakure ninjas are weak? Chiyo questioned. I didn't mean to disrespect your village, but I'm just stating the fact. For me, yes, your village, Sunagakure, is quite weak. I would only need to use 70% of my strength to destroy your entire village, Jirioku asserted. Chiyo became angry, and just as she was contemplating teaching Jirioku a lesson, Kakashi appeared between Chiyo and Jirioku, saying, "Calm down. We should all focus on the current matter at hand. And Chiyo-sama, believe me, if he gets serious, you are not his opponent." Chiyo finally calmed down and asked, "Who is he?" "He is Raijin no Jirioku from the Fire Country," Kakashi replied, and Kakashi emphasized Fire Country. Chiyo didn't say anything and simply made sound, choosing not to speak further, as she had heard about what Jirioku had done in Konoha. "Hello, Jirioku. I've missed you a lot," Ino said while hugging Jirioku. Me too," Jirioku responded. "Hey, man," Shikamaru greeted, shaking hands with Jirioku. Choji also approached Jirioku and offered him some chips, saying, "Nice to meet you after so long. Do you want some chips?" Jirioku accepted and took one, as Choji offering chips was his way of showing friendship. "Hello, Jirioku," Sakura greeted. Jirioku nodded in response. "Now is not the time for greetings, we must focus on saving Gaara right now," Naruto urged. "Naruto is right, we must concentrate on saving Gaara," Kakashi added. Then he looked at Neji and said, "Neji, use your Byakugan to see what is happening inside the cave and try to find out where Gaara is." Neji nodded and activated his Byakugan. After scanning, he reported, "There are 10 people inside, and Gaara is on the ground. It's hard to describe everything with words." "What is Gaara's condition?" Naruto asked. Neji remained silent for a moment after hearing Naruto's question, but he finally said, "There is no chakra in his body." That means only one thing. Everyone remained silent, as when someone doesn't have even a trace of chakra left in their body, it means only one thing: the person is dead. "Damn it! I won't let those bastards get away with this," Naruto exclaimed, his eyes turning red. "So they are just behind this stone, right?" Guy asked Neji. "Yes," Neji confirmed. "Okay, then," Guy said. With incredible speed, he punched the stone at the entrance. However, his attack was completely dispersed, and the stone remained intact without a single bit of damage. "It seems there is some kind of barrier used on the entrance to prevent us from entering," Kakashi observed. "Yes, probably the 5-seal barrier," Chiyo suggested. "Here is a tag with forbidden written on it, so most likely it is 5-seal barrier. We have to locate the other 4 tags with the same inscription," Kakashi said. Kakashi then turned to Neji and instructed, "Neji, try to locate the other tags. We have to remove all the tags at once." Neji nodded, and just as he was about to locate all the tags with his Byakugan, Jirioku said, "One is 500 meters to the northeast, the second is 350 meters to the southeast, the third is 650 meters to the northwest, and the last one is 800 meters away. But you don't have to go to such lengths. I will destroy this barrier in one shot," Jirioku declared. He gripped his sword and concentrated gravity on its blade, then swung it towards the cave entrance. A massive black slash was released from his sword, known as the Gravity Blade, Raging Tiger. The entire cliff, where the entrance was located, was blasted apart, revealing Sasori and Deidara with Gaara's lifeless body. Chapter 84. As Guy and his team arrived, Pain asked Waizetsu, "Where are they currently?" "Jirioku and Might Guy have reached the outside entrance, and Kakashi and his team will also arrive any moment," replied Waizetsu. Pain nodded and dismissed the summoning, sending the Geto statue back. The silhouettes of all the Akatsuki members also disappeared. Then Pain turned to Deidara and Sasori and said, "Focus every ounce of your strength and use all your tricks to defend yourselves because this may be your only chance to survive." Meanwhile, I will send our new recruit, Tobi, to assist you in retreating. Both Sasori and Deidara felt unhappy about being underestimated by Pain, but they didn't voice their concerns further. They knew their leader had already fought with Jirioku, so if he was advising them to retreat, there must be some truth to it. Afterward, Pain's silhouette also disappeared. Sasori, my man, it seems we have to retreat as soon as possible, or we'll be drawn into a fierce battle, said Deidara. You're right, but a confrontation with them is inevitable. After all, this place is covered by a strong defensive barrier. The only way out is through the entrance we used to get in, replied Sasori. Just as they were about to head for the entrance to escape, a powerful force pushed them both backward deep into the cave. What the? Exclaimed Deidara in shock. It seems someone destroyed the entrance and the barriers surrounding this place, said Sasori while regaining his balance. No, Sasori, my man, look carefully. Not only the entrance, but the whole cliff is destroyed, said Deidara. Sasori also saw this and was shocked. He asked, did a tailed beast use a tailed beast bomb or something? As the entire cliff had been destroyed, the stones fell into the river, creating a wide area of debris in the water. Every time I see Jirioku produce such attacks with his sword, I'm always shocked, said Shikamaru. Jirioku began walking in the direction of Deidara and Sasori. As he walked, he started releasing his Conqueror's Haki, focusing it solely on both Sasori and Deidara. If they didn't have strong willpower, they would have already been forced to kneel on the ground. What kind of aura is this? It's very different from killing intent, said Deidara. I don't know either. It's the first time I've felt something like this. It seems the leader is right, he is a formidable opponent, said Sasori. So, are we going to give up the fight? Asked Deidara. How is that even possible? I'm someone who won't go down this easily without showcasing my eternal art, replied Sasori. Sasori tore the cloth that was serving as a mask from the puppet's face, and the puppet opened its mouth, releasing a large number of needles in Jirioku's direction. Sasori used prepared puppet, 8 waves of needles technique. Jirioku could have easily stopped this attack with his gravity ability, but he chose not to do so, wanting to test his reflexes and swordsmanship. Jirioku unsheathed his sword and stood in one place, using basic swordsmanship to deflect all the needles without any fancy sword moves. The continuous clashing of metal against each other, going ding, 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 lasted for a full minute, and finally, the needles stored in Sasori's puppet's mouth were exhausted. Jirioku continued walking in the direction of Sasori and Deidara. Just with his pure basic physical strength and instinct, he deflected all my attacks. Is he even blind? Exclaimed Sasori in shock. Deidara, leave immediately through the air while I hold him off, Sasori instructed. Are you going to sacrifice yourself, Sasori, my man? Asked Deidara. You are the last person for whom I would sacrifice myself. It's just that you are good at escaping through the air, and I have a perfect way to escape through the ground very easily. Besides, didn't the leader just say that this man can control gravity? That means he can easily follow you in the air, and maybe his speed is even higher than yours. So, leave now, and not to mention, there are so many people here. I even doubt that you can fly away from here, Sasori explained. Let me show you how I can easily fly away from this place, said Deidara. Jirioku couldn't help but overhear their conversation, but he allowed them to do as they wished. After all, this was his first fight in many years, and he was simply enjoying it. Deidara created a C1 bird and used its body to carry Gaara's body, intending to attract the attention and anger of some of the people present so that he could relieve some of the pressure on Sasori's side. It played out as he had expected. Naruto, in anger, shouted, "Give Gaara back," as he looked at Deidara. He ran in the direction in which Deidara fell and followed closely behind Deidara's C1 bird. Kakashi also trailed behind Naruto. After all, he can't risk Naruto going berserk. Seeing this, Shikamaru said to his team, "Let's go too. We came with Kakashi-sensei, so we should follow him and Naruto." Ino and Choji nodded and followed Shikamaru in the direction that Deidara had fled. Sasori believed that Jirioku would try to stop Deidara from escaping, so he said, "Now let's see if you can dodge all these poison-infused needles. If even one needle grazes you, you'll be dead." Jirioku remained silent and continued walking towards Sasori. Sasori launched shrapnel of Senbon from the puppet in Jirioku's direction. A rain of poisonous needles came from every direction, but Jirioku easily deflected them all with his sword, and each needle fell to the ground. "What? Even needles from every direction can harm him," Sasori exclaimed. Chapter 85. Seeing Jirioku not getting harmed was a surprise to Sasori, but it wasn't entirely unexpected. For this reason alone, he approached Jirioku. As soon as Jirioku came within his range, he used the Iron Tail to attack, just after Jirioku finished defending against the needles. In response to Sasori's attack, Jirioku covered his right hand with armament haki and effortlessly caught Sasori's puppet's Iron Tail, which was imbued with poison. Sasori attempted to retract the tail, but he couldn't free it from Jirioku's grip. Just when Sasori was about to give up on his puppet's tail, Jirioku suddenly released it, leaving Sasori confused as to why Jirioku had let go of the tail. "Don't overthink it. It's been 3 years since I last fought. I'm just toying with you, having some fun, that's all," said Jirioku. "Don't underestimate me, boy. I am Sasori of the Red Sand, and I've killed more people than you've likely ever seen in your life," Sasori retorted angrily. "What does your alias have to do with your strength? Anyway, talking to you would be a waste of time, and if I waste any more time here, your partner may escape," Jirioku replied. After finishing his statement, he clenched his fist and covered his hand with armament haki. Soon, red thunder began to appear on his hand. This thunder wasn't ordinary, it was the Conqueror's haki enveloping Jirioku's hand. Jirioku unleashed a powerful punch known as the Mountain Destroyer Punch, creating a massive shockwave. Sasori found himself directly in the impact zone and was sent flying, with his puppet shattering piece by piece upon impact. Meanwhile, Chiyo, Sakura, and Tendai struggled to hold their ground as the shockwave reached them, threatening to send them flying as well. Once the effects of Jirioku's attack subsided, they were met with a barren circular area measuring 50 meters in diameter. Tintin expressed her shock, saying, "How powerful is this attack?" Chiyo was utterly stunned as she gazed at Jirioku, who was breathing slightly heavily. It was as if she were looking at a monster. She couldn't help but recall Kakashi's words, "If he gets serious, you're no match for him." And Jirioku's own statement, "Your village is too weak for me, I can destroy it with just 70% of my strength." Now, Chiyo even doubted whether Jirioku would need 70% of his strength to destroy Sunagakure. "I can't imagine performing a move like this without unlocking the 7th gate. And, not to mention, after using such a move, I wouldn't be able to perform it immediately." However, Jirioku executed it effortlessly, and it seems like he could do it again, commented my guy. This powerful move by Jirioku even caught the attention of Deidara, who was trying to escape, and Kakashi, who was in pursuit with his team. "Be careful, Sasori, my man," Deidara muttered as he continued to fly and throw C1 bombs in Kakashi and his team's path as they chased him. "It must be Jirioku," said Shikamaru. "Hiya, yeah, it must be him," replied Choji as he demolished the wood in front of him using his expansion jutsu. "These small explosives shaped like bugs are getting quite annoying," Ino remarked. "Focus on these small explosives. Although they are small, their potency is very high," advised Kakashi. Everyone nodded and continued their pursuit of Deidara. Turning back to where Jirioku had attacked Sasori, Jirioku said, "Survived? But this much can be expected from someone as tenacious as Sasori." Jirioku then turned towards Chiyo and asked, "He is your grandson, correct?" Chiyo replied with a simple yes. "I leave your grandson to you. Handle him." "I can't let his partner escape," said Jirioku. Before Chiyo could acknowledge Jirioku's words, he soared into the air with incredible speed and disappeared in an instant. Sasori's POV. "Damn it, what's with the strength of that monster? In just one blow, he destroyed not only my puppet but also my body puppet. If I hadn't protected my heart at the last moment, I would be dead for sure, thought Sasori as he transferred his consciousness to another Sasori puppet he had created as a backup. Sasori stood up and scanned the distance, but there was no sign of Jirioku. Where did that guy go? He wondered aloud. Chiyo approached Sasori's location and was shocked when she saw him. She exclaimed, "How can you look the same as you did 20 years ago?" Sasori replied, "What are you doing here, Granny? You're quite old for fighting, don't you think? And where did that bastard Jirioku go?" "Yes, I am old, but I am more than capable of taking you down," Chiyo asserted. "Really?" Sasori questioned. After confirming that Jirioku was indeed gone, Sasori said to Chiyo, "Let me show you my masterpiece, my best creation ever." He then retrieved a scroll and summoned a puppet from it. Chiyo, still in shock, muttered, "How can it be?" Sakura, curious, asked, "What's the matter, Granny Chiyo? Why are you so shocked?" Chiyo composed herself and answered Sakura's question, "Do you remember when I told you about the third Kazekage? This puppet is made from the body of the third Kazekage." Sakura was shocked upon hearing this revelation, as Chiyo had previously mentioned the human puppet while explaining the Hiriko puppet. By this time, the iron stored inside the third Kazekage puppet had emerged from the puppet's mouth, and Sasori unleashed the iron sand drizzle technique. Upon seeing the attack approaching, Guy activated the first gate and, with incredible speed, reached Chiyo. He swiftly moved her out of the trajectory of the Kazekage's attack. Likewise, Lee, who had unlocked the third gate, grabbed Sakura and moved her to safety. However, Niji realized that it would be impossible to move Tintin from her current position, so he employed the 8 trigrams Palm's revolving heaven to defend against the attack. Chapter 86, Boom, Boom, Boom. The explosions resounded. They were caused by C1 clay bombs used by Deidara. "Get down, you bastard, and give Gaara back," Naruto shouted. "Naruto, calm down. He's just trying to provoke you," Kakashi said. "Haha, if you want your friend back, you'll have to be faster than this," Deidara said, looking at everyone. Although he seemed confident, he thought, "My clays are decreasing at an alarming rate. It's a good thing I brought some extra clay with me, otherwise, I would have run out of clay." Just at that moment, Deidara's face changed. He attempted to alter the trajectory of the C1 bird he was currently riding, but before he could do that, he felt as though a tremendous force had struck him. He was sent flying, coughed up blood while in the air, and then fell to the ground. Deidara panted heavily, clutching his previously injured shoulders. He looked towards the sky and spotted the bird he had been standing on, which was now carrying Jirioku. "What are you doing here? What about Sasori?" Deidara inquired. "I attacked him only once, and he fell apart like sandcastle, but he does have some backups. So, he is alive and should be fighting with others right now. After all, you can escape just because of your ability to fly," replied Jirioku. "That means Sasori is fine, which is good. But now you will die," Deidara declared, forming a hand seal. Upon witnessing this, Shikamaru shouted, "Get away, Jirioku. The bird you are currently riding is made from clay, and he can detonate it whenever he wants." However, Jirioku remained motionless, as if he hadn't heard Shikamaru's warning. "Too late!" "Art is an explosion," said Deidara, anticipating an explosion. But even after waiting for a few seconds, nothing happened. Deidara attempted the hand seal once more, but once again, the result remained the same. "Why isn't my C1 exploding?" Deidara exclaimed in frustration. "Your explosion release is partially an earth release, and you know which chakra type restraints earth release, right?" Jirioku explained. As soon as Jirioku's voice fell silent, Deidara and the others observed Jirioku closely and noticed lightning discharging from his feet into the clay. "This clay bird is still airborne because I wish it to be," Jirioku stated and released his hold on the clay bird. It plummeted towards the river, while Gaara's body continued to float, thanks to Jirioku's gravity manipulation. Jirioku handed Gaara's body over to Naruto and landed on the ground in front of Deidara. At this moment, Deidara found himself in a total dilemma, surrounded by numerous ninjas. He could only contemplate one method that might work on such a large scale. Deidara consumed detonating clay and began chewing it, preparing for his next move. After thoroughly chewing the clay in his mouth, he released it, resulting in the formation of a giant doll resembling himself. Witnessing this colossal doll, everyone became alert and ready to flee if anything unexpected occurred. Contrary to everyone's expectations, except for Juryoku, the doll, instead of exploding with a massive blast, burst like a balloon. Seeing this, Choji expressed confusion and disappointment, saying, "All that preparation for this? Do not underestimate this move of his," cautioned Juryoku. The gas released from this doll is no ordinary gas, it contains minuscule explosives. These explosives are so tiny that if you inhale them, they will enter your lungs and eventually dissolve into your bloodstream. If, at that point, he decides to detonate them, your body will be reduced to nothing more than dust. So, close your nose and do not inhale it. Everyone followed Juryoku's instructions and stopped inhaling. Observing this, Deidara remarked, "It seems you know many things about me." "I don't know many things about you, I know everything about you, and not only you, but also your entire Akatsuki organization," replied Juryoku. "Really? Then let's see how you are going to counter this move," said Deidara, flying in the air with his C1 clay bird, which he had created while Juryoku was explaining the workings of the explosive doll. Deidara then retrieved another C3 that he had prepared earlier and hurled it toward Juryoku and the others. After releasing it, Deidara shouted, "This explosion is more than enough to take down a major village. Let's see how you're going to counter it." In response, Juryoku simply raised his hand, creating a purple barrier that enveloped the C3. Witnessing this, Deidara scoffed, saying, "A barrier will never be able to stop such a large-scale explosion." However, his words were proven wrong once again as the C3 exploded, but the entire explosion was contained within the purple barrier, which was a gravity barrier created by Juryoku. "How is this possible? This barrier should have been destroyed," exclaimed Deidara in shock. As Deidara was in shock, Juryoku sensed something and swiftly disappeared from his current location, reappearing on Deidara's right side. With a powerful slash, he struck a figure, who turned out to be Uchiha Abito. Juryoku's sword passed through Abito's body, and a clean sword slash traveled diagonally, cutting the clouds in half. Chapter 87. A few minutes ago, far away from the location where Deidara was attacking Juryoku and desperately trying to prove the superiority of his art. "Tell me as soon as Juryoku or Deidara use powerful techniques, that will be the best time to save Deidara," Abito said. "Yes, I will." Now, it seems Deidara has engaged in combat with Juryoku. "I think it won't be long before you get the chance," Black Zetsu replied. Black Zetsu was gathering all the information from the interconnected clones of White Zetsu. Soon after Deidara used C3, Black Zetsu informed Abito. Abito used Camui to disappear into the vortex and reappeared beside Deidara. However, before he could say a word, Juryoku was in his front and attacking him. Since he had just arrived, he was in a physical state, and Juryoku's attack hit him. But before it could seriously damage him, Abito used Camui to make his body intangible again. "How?" "It's as if he knew I was coming." "Can he see the future?" This question arose in Abito's mind. As it turned out, Juryoku indeed possessed the ability to see the future. He had used observation haki, future sight, to anticipate Abito's arrival. Consequently, as soon as Abito arrived, Juryoku launched a precise attack on him. Juryoku turned around and said, "You finally arrived. I was expecting you to come and save these Akatsuki members." "Wow, really? You knew I was coming? How did you know I was coming?" Abito asked, appearing physically and behaving foolishly. Blood dripped from his left sleeve as Juryoku's attack had hit his left shoulder. Just at that moment, he used Camui to protect himself, but the injury he sustained was slowly healing, thanks to Hashirama's cells. Hashirama's cells are truly advantageous, thought Juryoku, shaking his head. Their conversation was interrupted by a voice. It was Kakashi's. He asked, "Are you really Abito?" "Abito? Who's Abito?" "My name is Toby." "Nice to meet you all," said Abito, scratching his head and continuing to act like a fool. "You can act like a fool all you want, but that won't save you," Jirioku said as he swung his sword at Abito. However, since Abito was in an intangible state, the sword couldn't harm Jirioku in the slightest. "You can hit me all you want, but you can never touch me," Abito said in a foolish tone. Then he covered his mouth and added, "Oops, did I reveal my ability?" "You are correct, my attacks can't reach you. But that's only the case for now. Your ability must have a cooldown, whether it's 2 minutes, 2 hours, or even longer. Meanwhile, I can maintain this speed for an entire day. Let's see how long you can hold out," Jirioku said and continued to attack Abito without pausing. Abito's face behind the mask turned solemn because what Jirioku had said was true. Even leaving aside 2 hours, he would only last for 5 minutes before the effects of his Camui wore off. Abito realized that he couldn't escape until he distracted Jirioku. With this in mind, Abito used Fire Release, Blast Wave Wild Dance on Jirioku. However, Jirioku was able to foresee the attack coming through his observation haki. He created a gravity barrier around his body, tore through the approaching fire whirlpool, and resumed his attack on Abito. "Damn it! Even Fire Release is useless against him," cursed Abito. "There seems to be some kind of barrier around his body that's preventing him from getting harmed by fire," analyzed Abito. Abito was at a distance from Jirioku, so he materialized and released numerous sharp wooden spikes in Jirioku's direction. Jirioku, with his incredible speed, effortlessly cut through all the wooden spikes with his sword while closing in on Abito. He reached Abito and swung his sword in an attempt to strike him. However, just before getting hit by Jirioku's sword, Abito used Camui to dematerialize himself. Would release? How is it possible for someone else to use would release? Kakashi exclaimed in surprise. "How dare you get distracted while fighting me?" Deidara shouted as he flew on a bird and attacked Kakashi and the others with explosive clay. However, once Kakashi identified the weakness in Deidara's attack, as someone skilled in lightning release, it was clear that Deidara's explosives wouldn't affect him or the others. "So, you can counter them with your lightning release, right? Then let's see how many explosives you can actually defend against," Deidara said and released a large number of insect-shaped explosives in the direction of Kakashi and the others. Jirioku also observed this attack, but he knew Kakashi was there, so he didn't intervene and continued his assault on Abito. Meanwhile, Kakashi, to avoid getting hit by the numerous C1 insects, used Earth Release, Earth Wall and created a massive barrier that easily withstood Deidara's explosives. At that moment, Abito, who was clashing with Jirioku, commented, "Deidara-senpai, you always talk about art as an explosion. Are your explosions only this small?" Chapter 88, Are you belittling my art? Deidara retorted. "I will show you one of my masterpieces." "Let's die together, shall we? Suicide bombing technique," said Deidara. After Deidara said this, everyone became weary, his body started expanding like a balloon. Seeing this, Ino urgently exclaimed, "Get away immediately. His chakra is being concentrated in one point of his body, and his body is going to explode." Kakashi noticed that Jirioku was fully engaged in the battle with the masked man, making it impossible for him to come and save them. So, Kakashi decided to use his Sharingan ability. Just as Deidara's jacket began to explode, Kakashi activated Camui and transferred Deidara's jacket to another dimension. Meanwhile, Jirioku continued his relentless assault on Abito. He smiled when he saw, with his observation haki, Kakashi using Camui. He had been waiting for this moment, knowing that something like this would eventually happen. Although, according to Kakashi's understanding, he was sending Deidara's attack into a random space, Jirioku was certain that it would be transferred to the Camui dimension where Abito's stomach was, as that was the area Jirioku was targeting. As expected by Jirioku, Deidara's attack was transferred into the Camui dimension, directly hitting Abito's stomach and causing injured him slightly. Well, would you look at that? You, who have been intangible, suddenly became tangible and got injured. But how? Said Jirioku, feigning surprise. Kakashi, did you send Deidara's attack into some space, right? Asked Jirioku. Yes, replied Kakashi, slightly panting. And if I am correct, then at the same time Kakashi transferred Deidara's attack, you were injured, and it was in the same place where I was slashing with my sword. Your whole body is fine except for your stomach, where my attack was passing through. That means whenever I attack you, the part of your body which I am targeting gets transferred into the Kamui space, explained Jirioku. Abito wasn't surprised after hearing this. After all, Jirioku was a genius, and it was expected of him to deduce this. See, Kakashi, I was right. He is your friend after all, because the technique may be similar, but it would be too much of a coincidence for both eyes to use the same space to transfer objects, said Jirioku. Kakashi, who had been doubting whether the person wearing the mask was really Abito, was now certain that it was Abito. Why, Abito? Asked Kakashi. Abito returned to his physical state because the time was almost up, and he had to return to his physical state anyway. In the voice of Madara, he replied, You can speculate all you want, but I am not Abito Uchiha. He died long ago, right? Maybe, but now is not the time for chit-chatting, said Jirioku, taking advantage of the situation. He slashed at Abito, who responded by creating a wooden wall to reduce the intensity of Jirioku's attack. Abito then moved backward, and just as Jirioku's slash reached him, he used Kamui again to become intangible. Seizing the opportunity from the distance, Abito used Kamui to launch ninja tools from his Kamui space at Jirioku. The speed of these ninja tools was nothing to underestimate, and Jirioku had to exert his full strength to counter them with his sword. Jirioku, using his observation haki, foresaw that Abito could escape even if he moved now and reached Abito's location. Gravity push, said Jirioku. All the ninja tools coming toward him were repelled like a swarm of insects struck by a storm. Even Abito was pushed back, and he had to emerge from the Kamui space since he was interrupted while moving and was halfway outside. Jirioku gripped his sword, coating it with armament haki, and concentrated gravity on his blade. He slashed with tremendous force towards Abito, who was almost inside the Kamui space. Gravity slash before anyone could blink, a massive slash appeared on the ground, and only Abito's hand fell to the ground from where he was attempting to escape. What just happened right now? Choji asked in confusion. With just one slash, Jirioku was able to cut a distance almost 1 kilometer long, and I can't even sense the depth of the cut created by Jirioku, Ino remarked. Wow, so powerful, Choji said in shock while munching on chips. Kakashi was lost in a trance after this, reminiscing about his childhood memories with Abito and Rin. However, his reverie was abruptly interrupted when he sensed a menacing aura. Kakashi, who snapped out of his trance, suddenly remembered and looked in Naruto's direction. Naruto was holding Gaara's lifeless body, and the Nine-Tails chakra was leaking from Naruto, forming a cloak around him. Jirioku also sensed it but didn't take any action, leaving it to Kakashi to handle. After all, Jiraiya had given Kakashi the chakra-suppressing seal to calm Naruto. Kakashi used the chakra-suppressing seal to pacify Naruto, and upon seeing this, Shikamaru also felt relieved. He looked at Jirioku, who appeared quite disappointed. Shikamaru approached Jirioku with Ino and Choji and said, Don't worry, we'll catch them next time. Haha, you seem to have misunderstood. I'm not regretting that he escaped. If I wanted to, I could have ended his life in many possible ways, but I was just toying with him. He has some uses, so I let him leave alive, Jirioku explained. Shikamaru and the others were dumbfounded. Jirioku had been toying with the masked man despite possessing such destructive abilities. Then why do you seem disappointed? Asked Shikamaru. I'm working on a move where I concentrate gravity to the point on my sword that even space can be slashed, but I haven't achieved it yet, Jirioku admitted. Chapter 89, Your talk is literally out of this world for me. If I had the strength like yours, I would just relax and be sleeping somewhere peacefully, said Shikamaru. You think so because you don't know anything about this world. If you knew how powerful beings exist in this world or in the universe in which our world is currently located, then, by those standards, I am still very weak, said Jirioku. Hearing this, Shikamaru scratched his head because he didn't understand a bit. According to him, Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara, who were treated like gods, were names more than enough to strike fear into an entire ninja village. They knew that if either of them intended to destroy their village, it would be as good as destroyed. Shikamaru wanted to ask further, but he was stopped by Jirioku, who said, "No need to ask, you will eventually come to understand in the future." Shikamaru knew that once Jirioku decided not to talk about something, he wouldn't discuss it further. Therefore, he refrained from asking any more questions related to what Jirioku had just mentioned. Instead, Shikamaru inquired about something he had wanted to ask since he met Jirioku. "Jirioku, have your eyes returned?" Shikamaru asked, noticing a bump on Jirioku's eyelids, indicating that Jirioku had eyes and was no longer blind. "You're quite observant." "Yes, now I have eyes, but I don't have control over them, so I have to keep my eyes closed," Jirioku replied. "Jirioku, please don't misunderstand me, but did you use the eyes you took from the Hyuga clan elders and the Uchiha clan during the massacre?" Shikamaru inquired. "Yes, it's more like I combined all those eyes into a pair of eyes for myself," Jirioku confirmed. Then Jirioku explained, "I understand that it may seem inhuman to all of you, but I have to do everything within my abilities to become strong so that I can protect my friends and my future family. I wouldn't have taken those eyes if it was just about increasing my strength and harming others, but coincidentally, I obtained those eyes as prizes during my journey of revenge. So, it became a win-win situation for me. Thank you for sharing the truth with us, and we know you very well. You would never do something that goes against your morals," said Shikamaru. "Yeah, Jirioku, you don't have to feel any guilt," said Ino. "Thanks for understanding," replied Jirioku. "Okay, we should go now. The fight between Sasori and the others is about to reach its climax," said Jirioku. Jirioku then turned towards Kakashi and asked, "Are you coming with us, or are you going to search this area for any remaining clues?" Kakashi responded, "I believe in your strength and my friend Guy's strength as well, so I will stay here and search for any clues that might have been left by those Akatsuki members." "As you wish," said Jirioku. He tapped his crutch-cum sword on the ground, and a circular platform of earth rose into the air. Ino, Shikamaru, and Choji stood on it, with Jirioku in the middle. "Wow, it's my first time flying in the air," exclaimed Ino. "And mine too," added Shikamaru and Choji simultaneously. On the battlefield, Sasori was locked in combat with Team Guy, Sakura, and Chio. This time, Sasori was taking the fight very seriously because right from the initial stage of the battle, he recognized that there were 4 opponents who possessed exceptional physical strength, and they were the bane of puppet masters. Additionally, the presence of Niji prevented him from using any sneak attacks, as Niji's Byakugan would easily detect any chakra threads he employed for such tactics. For this reason, he maintained a distance from everyone, keeping his third Kazekage puppet at a safe distance as well. Sasori unleashed Iron Sand Gathering Assault, causing numerous metal structures to descend upon the battlefield. Witnessing the large and heavy metal objects hurtling towards the ground, Might Guy activated the 8 inner gates, the Gate of Joy. And with incredible speed and sheer strength, he kicked and punched all these metal structures back towards Sasori, as if returning the same gifts Sasori had given them. "It seems I need to use a chakra-consuming move so that I can, at the very least, injure them," thought Sasori. After making up his mind, Sasori used Iron Sand World Method. In an instant, sharp iron branches spread throughout the area. With her experience, Chio managed to escape, but Sakura, who was being controlled by her, couldn't be kept entirely safe. Sakura sustained a few scratches here and there from these metal branches. Lee was also able to react and defend himself as he was in the 4th gate state. However, he soon lost this state and became fatigued due to the use of the 8 gates for a long time. Niji, on the other hand, managed to dodge and destroy these metal branches with the help of his Byakugan. Guy easily evaded the attacks and destroyed them, benefiting from being in the 6th gate. Unfortunately, it was a different story for Tintin. Although she wasn't injured at any critical places due to her reflexes, but she sustained numerous injuries. The iron sand contained poison, which quickly took effect. Tintin began feeling dizzy and was about to fall to the ground, where more iron spikes awaited her. However, Niji came to her rescue. He destroyed these iron sand structures and saved Tintin. This was also noticed by Sakura, who was injured and affected by the poison. She swiftly retrieved an antidote and injected it into herself. Immediately, she rushed toward Tintin, all while saying to Guy, "Please keep him occupied, I will treat Tintin." Guy responded with a thumbs up, saying, "Don't worry, I will definitely hold him back." With that, Guy sprinted at incredible speed towards Sasori. Chapter 90. Seeing Guy getting so close, Sasori used Iron Sand Drizzle, unleashing a barrage of Iron Sand bullets at Guy. However, with his speed and fast reflexes, Guy easily dodged these Iron Sand bullets. Guy closed in on Sasori even further. Sasori, realizing this, created an iron sphere around himself and the third Kazekage puppet. Observing the Iron Sand sphere, Guy began punching rapidly in the air, generating fireballs that struck the Iron Sand sphere with precision and power, a technique known as Morning Peacock. Soon, the Iron Sand sphere was destroyed, revealing the third Kazekage puppet and Sasori. Guy recognized this as an opportunity to completely destroy the third Kazekage puppet. Without wasting any time, he delivered powerful punches to the puppet, reducing it to pieces. However, this gave Sasori ample time to retreat backward, avoiding the full force of Guy's attack. But how could Sasori be faster than Guy, who was in the 6th gate state? Guy landed on the ground with ease and, at incredible speed, appeared in front of Sasori, delivering a powerful punch to his face. Sasori attempted to defend himself by launching poisonous needles at Guy, but these needles couldn't even get close to Guy's body as he was enveloped in a protective green aura. Guy succeeded in landing a punch on Sasori's head, causing it to explode. However, to Guy's surprise, this Sasori turned into sand, a sand clone. Sasori finally appeared at a quite far distance from Guy, having lost one of his most precious and prized creations. Although Sasori was disappointed with the result, he decided to accept it. Now, if he wanted to win, he was left with only one move that could potentially harm all the people present. By now, Sakura had injected the antidote into Tintin and was currently healing Tintin's injuries. Tintin, who might have succumbed to Sasori's poison, remained alive. Lee remarked to Sakura, "Now that you have the antidote, we don't have to worry about being poisoned by this guy. We can fight freely without any constraints." Sakura replied, "No, we can't be reckless. I only had 2 antidotes, one I used just now when I got poisoned, and the second was used on Tintin to save her from death. I didn't mention it because we can't reveal the exact number of antidotes for this poison. We want our enemies to think we still have antidotes." Sakura cautioned everyone not to get injured in the slightest. Everyone nodded and agreed with Sakura's strategy, deciding not to rush into things. At this time, Sasori retrieved a scroll and opened his Akatsuki robe. He then opened the right chest compartment of his puppet body, from which a multiple chakra threads emerged. These threads attached to the scroll, and soon, more than 100 puppets materialized, each connected to those chakra threads. "Red secret technique, performance of 100 puppets," Sasori declared. "With this move, I was once able to destroy a whole country without a problem," he added, pride evident in his voice. However, at that very moment, everyone sensed something and turned around. They observed a circular piece of ground flying toward them in the air, with Jirioku, Shikamaru, Ino, and Choji standing on it. Soon, they all landed, and Shio inquired, "Where's Gaara's body?" "His body is with Naruto. They will be coming in a few minutes." Since there was a battle with the Akatsuki, they stayed behind to collect any clues if they can find any, Shikamaru explained. Everyone nodded in agreement with Shikamaru's explanation, and Jirioku, while facing Sasori, remarked, "It seems you all were unable to defeat this lump of junk. Alright, let's finish him quickly." "I have to leave soon, I have work to do," Jirioku stated. Chiyo asked, "Aren't you going to fight him?" "No, after all, you all have been fighting for so long, and suddenly I come and take your credit. It doesn't seem right, so you guys fight," said Jirioku. "What are you talking about? We won't receive any reward for this," said Sakura. "But it will be added to your achievements, right?" said Jirioku. "I know, but defeating him is the priority now. If you can defeat him instantly, it would be very good for us," said Sakura. "Even Gai-sensei will not be able to hold on for long in his sixth gate form," said Niji. "Is this the opinion of all of you?" asked Jirioku. "Yes," said Sakura while healing Tintin. "Yeah, I also don't have any problem," said Lee, sitting exhausted. "I also don't want to fight my grandson, and if possible, I don't want to kill him with my own hands," said Chiyo. With Chiyo's agreement, everyone else also accepted Jirioku's proposal. "As you wish, I just wanted to test my new abilities," said Jirioku while walking in the direction of Sasori. Sasori's face became solemn after seeing Jirioku. Sasori thought, "I could hope to escape from this situation if only Jirioku didn't arrive here, but in front of this beast, it is impossible for me to leave now. His sensory abilities are so powerful that fooling him is also impossible." Sasori asked Jirioku, "Where is Deidara? Did you kill him?" "No, he escaped while I was distracted fighting that so-called intern of yours," said Jirioku. Sasori felt relieved after hearing this. Although both of them were cold towards each other, in this world, only they could understand each other's thoughts and talk about art. "This time, you will die for sure by my hands," said Sasori. "Really? What gives you such confidence?" said Jirioku, opening his eyes for the first time since he gouged them out in childhood. That's the end of this tale for now. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on part 4. Peace.